Woo-hoo-hoo. Listen, you guys, I love that countdown. I love it. It gets you in this mood. It gets you ready for the content, right? You know, have to throw on a little blazer real quick. That's your boy looking right. Listen, we're going to have some real conversations over here today, you guys. We're about to talk about some real good stuff. We're going to keep it real. Listen, welcome back to my channel. This is Nathan Daly. I am your law enforcement translator, you guys. I take these difficult conversations and topics that are bothering our communities, that are bothering this nation, you guys, and I give it to you from the perspective of a law enforcement officer, you guys. You know, I'm a 13-year veteran. I'm coming here with some raw, cold truth, some facts, some statistics, some data. You guys, what are we talking about today? Black men, Black fathers, Black boys. Why is this such an important conversation? Because we don't have it often. We don't talk about the value of men in our community. We know they're valuable. We don't understand the repercussions of not having them in our families. You guys, we got to have these conversations. We got to have them because, lately I've been around in these YouTube places. People say the streets. I've been in different YouTube communities having these discussions, having these difficult topics about family, about Black issues. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, from my experience, everything always filters back to the families, the balance, the importance of, let me open this up real quick. Let me open these up. Let me see what's going on. Oh, here we go. Someone said looking like new money. Oh yeah, money all day. Make sure I get these comments right. Where is this? This is not coming up on the screen. Need to go to work on some private videos. Is this video private? Hold on, you guys. Let me get to some struggle streaming issues, apparently. Let me pull myself out, put myself back in. Give me 1 second, you guys. 1 second, because it's not. Let me pull the comments up on the screen real quick. So we got that. It says this video is private videos, create public and unpublished, blah, 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 blah. All right, hold on. Can't have a stream without a little struggle. How's everybody doing tonight, though? Before we dive into this topic, let me make sure I got this thing. It's on public. StreamYard be on that foolishness. I'm gonna back myself out. Hang tight 1 second, you guys. 1 second. Leave the studio. Make sure you want to leave the broadcast. All right, well, looks like we got us a little problem. Apparently, StreamYard is not going to let me post any of the comments. That sucks. Oh, well, we got to roll with it. Everybody cool with it? We got to roll with it. That's one of the only cool features about StreamYard. But listen, it is what it is, you guys. We're going to have to just do what we can do. So listen, you guys, we're talking about Black fathers. We're talking about the importance of Black fathers. So today I have two important gentlemen here to discuss this topic with me, you guys. So I want to dive into a lot of interesting things. You guys know, as an officer, I go in and out of our communities. I go in and out of our homes and our schools. I speak to counselors. I speak to therapists. I speak to DFACS workers. I have sent kids off to the state. I've removed kids out of the homes. You guys, and one of the most common denominators, either the dysfunction of the home is so bad or there's absolutely just a father missing. And sometimes there are kids in homes with mothers that aren't qualified mothers, and they're there. And the dysfunction is there, you guys. There's a multitude of issues. There's a multitude of impacts. We know that there's an attack on men in this country. It's been like that for a while. There's different tools. There's different agendas that are taking place. and they want to destroy families. Why? Because with families comes power, comes unity, culture is grown and it's orchestrated through families. And if you could destroy families, you guys, you can wipe out a whole nation. You make a nation weak. And specifically today, we're talking about Black men, how Black men become, well, I will say how Black boys become Black men, and from Black men, they become fathers. If there's anything in that process that derails that young boy, you're talking about chaos moving forward. And it's hard to get back on that path of truth. It's hard to get back on that path of correction, that purpose, and this is what we're going to discuss today. I want you guys to see the impacts of what it looks like when fathers are missing out of homes. A lot of us don't know this, the data behind it. We don't know the outcomes. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Unfortunately, due to StreamYard's foolishness, I can't pull up the chats and stuff on the screen. So you guys, I apologize about that. But nonetheless, the information is what it is, right? So we're going to get into it. Who do I have with me today, you guys? I have the amazing Sir Hale Speaks. If you guys don't know him on my channel, you will learn to love him, as I have. I've got a chance to debate this gentleman before. Very sharp. He has a voice smoother than mine. No, I'm just playing. It ain't that smooth, but it's smooth nonetheless. But he has some wisdom about him. Very sharp. I learned a lot when I listened to him. He has his own channel as well, Sir Hale Speaks. And the moderators, thank you so much for the moderators that are here tonight. I really appreciate you guys. Please, if anyone can drop Sir Hale Speaks channel in the chat, I'm going to bring him up. We also have the amazing ChicagoRilla, if you're not familiar with him. These two men are also fathers. ChicagoRilla is a very, very, very sharp brother as well. I listen to him speak all the time. He always has something amazing to say. He's always advocating for men. So is Sir Hale. They're both strong advocates for men, Black men, of course, and Black fathers. And so I felt like these are the perfect two gentlemen to bring on this platform to have this discussion. So we're going to also drop ChicagoRilla's link as well. He's attached to this amazing platform called the Peef Network. They be over there talking about all kind of stuff. I'll be over there just trying to keep up. Every day is something new, right? Amazing conversations. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guest up. And you guys, we're going to dive right into it. Matter of fact, I'm also going to put the link in there. We're going to go. I want the moderators to just go on and have it, because by the time we get this to talking, it's going to be off the chain. All right, let's see. Bam. All right. Now, without further ado, my amazing two guests. We're going to ride through this conversation, you guys. Without further ado, welcome, 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 fellas. Welcome, welcome.
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. ChicagoRilla. He disappeared on us. Oh, you're on mute. There you go.
Yeah, struggle streaming.
Hey.
Struggle streaming.
Salute, good bro.
Man, salute to y'all. I feel like I ain't get the memo for the dress code, but I knew y'all were gonna do this. And I said, let me go left on purpose. Let me do this.
You good? I said, shoot, if I got Sir Hale's up here, I can't have it, brother. Shoot.
Sir Hale be in the gym, man. Anyway, all right.
It's all good. Hey,
he tried to show, man, gun show. Okay, Sir Hale.
At the end of the day, everybody's here for the knowledge and for the wisdom.
Indeed.
And so I just know Sir Hale coming with the voice, he coming with the look. I can't have another chocolate brother on my channel showing me out. It's unacceptable. So I had to come correct.
That's messed up.
I had the struggle tie in the back. I said, let me go and just take the thing out.
The struggle tie.
Hey man,
you sharp, brother.
Let me say this, brother Nathan, for you really quick, man. I've been excited about this since we've been talking back channel. It is an absolute honor and privilege to be on stage with a real life superhero, man. Like for real. Like, thank you, bro, for the invitation to have this conversation that is important to all of us and is necessary. And I'll say this outright, because I know when you first popped up, your views wasn't readily received by a lot of people, by a lot of brothers. And I had to myself, man, I had to rewind it 3 times. Like, what did he say? Right.
Hey, facts.
And then when you listen, it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it now. That. So no, I appreciate you. I know the work that you've done and the work that you continue to do, even in spite of. You could have just tapped out, bro, and said, you know what? Holla back, y'all. You Negroes got it from here, right? But you're doing God's work, man. And I'm telling you, it is a real honor and privilege to be on the stage with a real life superhero, man. Salute to you, King.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Amen to that. I appreciate that 100%. Appreciate that.
I want to follow it, but dang, nice blazer, man. You look good. Dang, ChicagoRilla, you leave me speechless, bro. Dang. No, real stuff though. The real stuff. Also, perspective, man. I'm really glad to be here. Shout out to the real Nathan
Thank you.
And here's what I respect about you: is you have your beliefs and your convictions, and you stand on them, unwavering. I respect that, bro. Straight up. Thanks so much for the invitation. Glad to be here, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man. It's an honor. And I appreciate you guys answering the call, And so you guys are very busy, very talented brothers. And so it made me feel good to know that I had the opportunity to even reach out to you. I look up to you guys. And I look at when I get a chance to speak to you and I hear you guys speak, it's a form of me sharpening my own iron. And so I appreciate you guys for being a voice in this space. We need it. As we all know, I think this is ushering in a new beginning within our community. A lot of brothers are stepping up from different perspectives, from different backgrounds, different professions. And we are saying enough's enough, right? And we want to bring truth to power. And I think that is what we're doing. We put our money and our mouth where our face is, right? Our voices. And here we are, right? Here we are putting in the work. So, shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being with us here tonight. Could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, right? So we're going to dive into it. We're going to dive right into this thing, you guys. What are we talking about today? There's a plethora of things I want to go over. Most importantly, I want you guys to introduce yourselves. I'm going to start with Sir Hale Speaks. Go ahead and let the people know who you are, what your channel is about. And if the moderators can drop his link again, this is a brother that we need to support and get behind. And when you go to his channel, when you hear him tonight, you will understand why. You'll be thanking me and sending me emails and saying, Nathan, how come you didn't send him sooner, right? Listen, the YouTube Messiah, right? So I love this brother, man, Christian brother. So go ahead, Sir Hale Speaks. Go ahead and let the people know who you are.
First of all, my real name is Ernest Hill. I go by Sir Hale Speaks. Had to put that out there because it just rolls off the tongue easily. I am a proud black man married to a beautiful woman going on 15 years for beautiful children. I am a man of faith, someone who did not come up through school, never graduated, but got my GED, but then matriculated, went back to go get a degree, finishing a degree. My goal is to help empower people who don't feel like they can be something because of societal pressures. My goal is to bring Black excellence, to put that on display, and to let Black men know that you can be excellent and awesome, and to change the narrative about who we are, how we conduct ourselves in society and in families. My name is Sir Hale Speaks, and I approve this message.
We got to give that slow clap. Yes. Yeah, I approve that message. Absolutely. I love it. All right, ChicagoRilla, you up, brother? Let the people know who you are, where they can find you.
Thank you, sir. I'm a custodial engineer. I sweep up the streets. I collect cans. I sweep bathrooms, hallways, all days, right? No, I am. I'm a again proud black man. Shout out to Sir Hale. I'm a proud black man. I am pro-black everything. Everything that when you see me get up here, when you see my background, know that that's something black connected to it. You see this hat, know that that's something black. You see this shirt,
right.
Lead, never follow. Shout out to leaders. It's black. It's all black. Everything over here all day, right? I'm a dude that's passionate. I love my people, man. I love my people. Recently married. Shout out to my wife, who is allowing me. I don't have 15 years in the game, Sir Hale. You low-key flex on all of us, right? But I've been with my girl we've been together almost 6 years, and we just got married in February. Life is amazing and life is good. I do not have a channel to direct you to. What I would ask is anytime, because I know he's gonna do this all night, anytime Nathan says something about the network that I'm at. The attention is not on the network. The attention is on the message. It's one of the reasons. Can I say this out right, Nathan? One of the reasons people ask me about a channel. When you gonna do a channel? Are you gonna get a show? One of the reasons why I don't have a channel is so I can maneuver how I need to maneuver, right? So when I do something or when I say something, you can't say, oh, he's doing that for clicks and likes. He's doing that for views. He's doing that for validation. I need to be able to maneuver and speak and I want people to be able to concentrate on the message and not necessarily affiliation. So when Nathan says, yo, moderators, drop the link for ChicagoRilla. I know Gail gonna do it anyway. That's cool. But I want her to drop the Cash App. And I want y'all to hit the Cash App. I want y'all to hit the super chat. Every time he say something about ChicagoRilla and drop that link for the network I'm affiliated with, send a Cash App. That's my ass. So
that's what's up. Well respected, well received. Absolutely. All right. So look, brothers, we're going to dive right into it. I want to read something to you to introduce this whole topic, and we're going to get right to the meats and potatoes of it all. Here we go. In 2008, President Barack Obama said during his Father's Day speech that more than half of all Black children live in single-parent households. Children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, 20 times more likely to end up in prison. They are more likely to have behavioral problems or run away from home or become teenage parents themselves. And the foundations of our community are weaker because of it. You guys, this is the late, great, still alive, legendary Barack Obama, the savior of Black people from the Democratic Party. We are well aware of who he is. This was a statement that he said, right? You guys, what a lot of people might not realize is the reality behind this situation is absent fathers has consequences. Regardless of how that father became absent is irrelevant. We can talk about all the nuances. People always love to dive into how, where did it happen? My situation was like this, my situation was like that. Now, not to shy away from that, but the reality of the problem is it exists, right? It's here we are. And there's consequences for it. What people don't realize, between 60 to 70% of some of the most dysfunction that children go through, right? The depression that they go through, the suicide. We talk about sexual assault against them. We talk about juvenile delinquency. We talk about behavioral problems. We talk about crime. We talk about poverty. We're talking 70% of these kids are going through this. And one of the common denominators that they found is that fathers weren't present, right? Whether they were active in the child's life or completely gone and missing. I want to start off with Sir Hale. When you hear that statement about Obama, what is your thoughts about Black families and how he kind of presented that information out? What are your thoughts?
The first thing is that it's true. As a product of a single mother, and it wasn't because my father left, it's because he passed away.
Okay.
You see how difficult it is he passed away when I was 5. So you see how difficult it is to, number one, not have that second person, that second perspective about life. And as a young boy, whoever is your most closest influence, you're going to pick up the way you think, your template for life based off of that person. So young boys who are around women end up taking on feminine characteristics, the way we think and approach things. One of those key things is the mismanagement of our emotions, how we feel. We become emotional about everything, which is why a lot of kids who start off that way without the male presence that establishes that foundation, end up expressing that emotion in what is anger. So we join cliques, we join gangs, we do things because we're trying to find a way to fit in without having the right template to manage our emotions. And so when I hear Obama say things like this, it makes me think about my own life and about some of the situations I find myself in, and thinking about, how do I want my life to play out? Do I want to be on the block? Do I want to be selling drugs? Is this what I want? Because everybody has to choose. Everybody has to choose. And sometimes, depending on where you live and what you have available to you, those options are diminished. So some people who are living that way, that's the options that they have around them. So when he says this, there is an air of truth, but also an air of grief that our community has devolved into such a place where this has to be said at a national level, because it has now become our normal. So it's truth, but it brings a little bit of grief and a little bit of gravity to let us know that the situation is even though we've normalized it, it is serious and needs to be at the forefront. That's what I think about.
Okay, well said. And I do have a rebuttal. I want to get Chicago. What are your thoughts when you hear Obama make that statement, Chicago?
I don't want to be going behind Sir Hale all night, man.
I got to the next one. So.
No, I'm just joking. Listen, I already knew what type of night it was going to be between you two brothers, and I'll forewarn you, brother Nathan.
Yes, sir.
I am inextricably tied to what we're talking about and deeply passionate. So you'll hear a lot of anecdotal references from me and a lot of nuances, because that part I can't get away from. But I believe in what you said also, is that the whys and the hows and the this and the that, which we tend to focus on. You're absolutely right. In a greater scheme, it doesn't matter. But at the same time, I do want to, because I always champion myself as someone who represents blue collar workers, and I always want to consistently connect with them. And that's one of the ways that I do it. And so similar to Sir Hale, so, my situation with my father wasn't a result of him passing. My situation with my father in absenteeism was him being alienated. Okay. And what Obama said rang true. Now, the block that I grew up in, or grew up on, and the era that I grew up in, it was interesting because at the same time I saw a lot of 2-parent homes, but there were a number of kids that went to school with that got free lunches, right? And we know, for the most part, with free lunches is, people that fall below a particular threshold with income, and tends to come from single parent homes. And most times those are single mother homes. And so, when Obama made that statement, this is my honest reflection. When he made that statement, I didn't look at it necessarily that it was coming from, the president's office. What I wish had happened with that was that there was some follow-up and follow-through as a result of that statement being made. And then here's the other part of it. And I don't want to do whataboutisms, but I know plenty of people on the other side of the spectrum that are experiencing the same thing too, in terms of growing up without their father, and they don't quite look like me. Right? They don't quite look like me. And so they're kind of experiencing the same thing too. But I want to keep it centered on what we're talking about with people who look like me. And so that's my honest thoughts initially. I just really wish that I agree with the statement, but it, in retrospect and hearing you read it, it does kind of sound like virtue signaling, because what I don't see is the follow through. And even, listen, let me say this. Shout out to the First Family and all that, right? Even with the development that's going on down there on South Shore, and in Jackson Park, and what they're about to build in terms of his library, right? There's still an opportunity to impact Chicago and the boys in Chicago. And I feel like that presence should be felt more. So when I hear that statement, I'm a little bit disappointed, even more so in retrospect, because you made the statement, then where's the follow through? Right? Where's the follow up and follow through? And then where are the end results that we can point to say, you know what? Good job. Well done. So it's my honest thoughts.
I agree. And I think that's the danger of having all this information. People say the moment you put a mirror up, you're forced to look at the reality of a situation. It's called accountability. That's why we avoid it. Right? Because the idea that once you see it, once someone tells you about what it is, you have to address it appropriately. I agree with that statement. So Chicago, let me add this real quick. Can we repair it? Do you see us turning this ship around? Is it possible?
The beautiful thing, and I say this, I'm seeing this a lot lately, just from being in this space since February of last year. Oh, dang, it's almost been a year. Jesus Christ.
Right.
It's been a year of being in this space. I see brothers, man, getting it together. And you know what's the beautiful thing? It's not that I just see it in my inner circle, right? Because I could easily be swayed and biased by who my inner circle is. But I'm connected. You in the A. Sir, I forget where you at, Sir Hale, but you in the Carolinas somewhere, I think.
Down here in Texas.
Oh, Texas. Okay. So my point being is that otherwise, if it wasn't for this medium, I wouldn't have connected with you guys on this level, right? And so I do see a lot of brothers getting it together, and the reason why, Brother Nathan, is because men are made. Men are made. So I do see it getting better. I do see brothers stepping up to the plate, and even in my generation in particular. For those of us who abandoned or our fathers were alienated out of the picture, we didn't grow up with our fathers. One of the commitments that we made, and especially in my cipher in particular, I will never be the father to my child that my dad was to me. And I see that playing out. So I do see it getting better.
Powerful statement. And I agree with that. I always look at the relationship I had with my father. He's still alive. And we have a good relationship, but there are things that I see in him that I wish he did differently. Right. And I think all we can do is take the best parts of our parents, right, and then add on something greater to it and pass something better on to our own children. That's all we can do at the end of the day. And it makes it so much easier to look at it that way instead of complaining and being angry about what we didn't have or what opportunities were not presented to us or passed down to us from our parents. So Harold, what do you have to think? What do you have to say about that in reference to is this repairable?
It absolutely is reparable. So I am so honored that dads come in different shapes and sizes. We look different. And what I'm glad to see with platforms like this is that we get to see fatherhood in different ways. We get to see it in different ways. We get to see it, from different spectrums. I absolutely think that is changing. Let me be transparent for a second. As a father of 4 children, there was a moment where my wife and I, we had a disconnect. And we saw how the division between us affected our kids. And we had to make a grown folks decision to say that not only are we in this for us, but we in this so that our kids not only can have the things that we didn't have, because things come and go, but we want them to have some understanding, a foundation that we didn't get to have about what love is, what care is, what family is, a sense of belonging, what nurturing is, what masculinity is, seeing work ethic, seeing unity in the home, seeing how to function with somebody. So it absolutely is reparable if we all make the decision that we're not going to live our life just for our own stuff and what we want to do, but we make life bigger than our own personal endeavors and pursuits. So yes, and I see more men not only doing it, but becoming more vocal about it and encouraging it within the men around them as well. So absolutely, positively, unequivocally, yes.
Okay, I like that. And I agree with you. I believe that there are certain things as we are moving. I believe the fastest way to fix and cure this problem is for our community to have its own educational system, quote unquote, right? We know this thing is all about education. What's the fastest way we can reverse engineer the problems that are impacting our community in a negative way? We talk about the influence of media. We talk about the influence of social media, movies, television, rap music, entertainment in general. All these things have an influence, whether you like the influence or not. The reality is we have young children who can't separate the reality from the entertainment, and it's having a negative impact. But before we dive into that, because I cannot pull up these super chats and stuff on here, I want to read them out. So I want to acknowledge everyone here who's supporting in this moment. So shout out to Hakeem. Thank you for your support. He said he caught a live stream. Shout out to you and Sir Hale. Lucchese, we all know who the amazing Lucchese is. Thank you so much for this $20 super chat. Said excellent guest on your panel. Oh, yeah, these guys are amazing. So let me scroll on through. Oh, I saw a couple more. Y'all are dropping them. Thank you guys so much for the support. Daughter of Yah, thank you so much for that donation and super chat. And then also TJ Randolph, we all know her. She's amazing as well. Always dropping
out.
Yeah, so thank you so much, TJ. So let's go into this thing. I want to talk about one of the biggest problems as far as Black men, the myths of Black fathers, right? The myths that fathers are not present, fathers aren't active. we know that Black men are the most active fathers in all groups, right? And so what happens, you guys, people throw these statistics out. They say, 70 to 75% of Black women have children out of wedlock, and they're single mothers. But then they never talk about all the nuances behind the scenes. And so it's a very unique statistic, because we know it's a lot, but it doesn't necessarily mean bad per se. Well, we know it's bad, right? We know it's bad. It's not healthy. Let's say that. We won't say bad. It's not a healthy statistic. We definitely want to reduce that. Is it safe to say that this is a two-part problem? Are we looking at modern times changing so much that people don't look at marriage as something of a necessity, right? Or is it that there's just a problem together between both genders coming together and unifying and creating family out of that? Is this a modern day thing and it's not really too much of a big deal to look at? Or is this still a legitimate problem, having out of wedlock births and the fact that our single mother rate is so high? Who wants to take the stab at it first?
Chicago, go first. I'll see it.
I'm hearing my grandma all through that. I'm my mom, because my grandma, I love my grandma. My grandma say stuff like, "You so smart, you dumb."
Facts.
And the thing of it is, in their generation, it worked. Like, we just listened to Sir Hale talked about, he's been married to and shout out to wifey. I see her in the chat. Y'all been married for 15 years, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How much of that is lovey-dovey and fuzzy and, oh baby, it's bunnies and I love you just so much? How much of that?
2 days. It's 2 days.
The point that I'm making is, we just listen to him talk about duty,
right?
Legacy, duty, honor, legacy. That has nothing to do with how you feel.
Correct.
Those questions. One of the first conversations I had with my girl, and one of the first conversations I had with her is, we knew early on we was going to be together for the rest of our lives, right? We just knew it, right? So one of the first conversations I had with her is, what happens when you don't love me? What happens? Because when you describe love in these spaces, it's a feeling. It's I feel. So what happens when you don't love me? Anyway, my point being is, when you talk about duty to family, duty to our children, duty to for me, legacy. The scripture talks about train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they'll not depart from it. That people misuse and abuse that scripture all the time. But I'll just say, for me, and I hope I'm answering the question, but for me, training up that child in the way that they should go requires covering. It requires covering. And I think optimally, for things to change in our community, for things to change, especially with as it relates to family and parenting and rearing, man, we got to get honest. We got to have open, real conversations. We got to get more intentional. And again, I'm hopeful because I do see it improving. But I've never encountered so much like gender war stuff until I came into this. In my real life, I don't see it like that.
Me neither.
I don't see it like that. Now, people are making, some irresponsible and immature choices in real life. And then they have to account for that. I've made irresponsible and immature choices, and I've had to account for that. But for me, I have to believe, I have hope, and I do see it getting better, but we got to get real about these conversations. So I'll pause there and let Sir Hale cook for a bit.
So let's get into this. Number one, if you are a single parent and the other parent is active, you then are not a single mother, you are not a single father, you are a single person. And I think that we have to evolve the definition so that we no longer use this. Oh, let's get into the second part, that there is a whole business and marketing strategy for single parenthood. I think what has happened, particularly in minority communities, is we've celebrated and championed single parenthood, which is why you see this as a prefix to somebody who's doing something. This single mother accomplished this. This single mother did this. This single person did this. And it is because we have marketed this in such a way so that big business profits off of the dysfunction at the expense of children. And until we take this back and we no longer allow this negative concept to be marketed to our communities, and we say we're not buying into this business, and we're not going to use this trope that I am a single parent as a way to bolster my social standing or to make my efforts seem bigger than they are, but that is bigger than that. And no, I'm going to give credit to the other parent who is active, because this ain't about me looking good and looking so strong. Because that's what we do in our community. You're strong. You're a strong Black woman. You're a strong Black man. No, if the other parent is active, it doesn't mean that they are always available, but they are active. That means that they love the child just as much as you do. Whenever there's something needed, you don't have to beg them for that. They try to spend time to the best of their abilities. They nurture that child. They try to do what they can. We've got to stop using this "I'm a single so-and-so" as a way to get the credit when all the credit doesn't belong to you. So it's a marketing problem that ties back into business, and the business is profiting off of the dysfunction that we see in our community. So we have to remarket what this means and place value back on the necessity and the structure, and honestly, the health that marriage provides for family and children. It's a marketing issue.
Yes. Go ahead, Chicago.
I was about to ask, so because I'm thinking about, like, Nathan, you were talking about earlier about the influence of media and stuff like that, right? So that's the first thing that I go to. Sir Hale, what do you think of some, and I hope I'm not jumping ahead of you.
Nah, brother, go ahead.
But what do you think of some of the solutions to get back? Because I agree with you. The idea that being married is like, oh, you being tied down, and that's fam, Negroes have no idea. I'm so glad I don't have to play around in that stuff y'all have to deal with. You niggas are doomed. Like,
Facts.
Y'all are doomed. Y'all are out there playing with stuff that's just like wild.
It's wild. Listen,
you in the A, so I know you know. You poor thing.
Let me tell you something. It's a where's Chicago go? Brother struggle streaming. We'll get Chicago back up. He probably dropped the phone. It is a struggle dating out here, because the challenge for men who want to be married is finding women who have the mentality of a wife. And that is honestly, that is the most difficult thing. You know, the challenges that women have is that they have to accept, right? They have to accept the man, however they view him being, if he's in his right mind, he's on his purpose or whatever. Women have the privilege of accepting. Men have the privilege of actually seeking. And if you accept what comes to you, then you have to accept that in a sense. You don't have to stay in it, but nonetheless, you have to accept. I think that's the biggest burden women have. The biggest burden for men is that we have to find. And so it is very difficult because society's changing. You know, and the reason why I asked that question about, is this modern time that we're living in now, is this the standard? Are we saying that it's okay to be single parents? It's okay not to have a core family. Are we saying that this is the norm? And the reason why I say that is because regardless of how we feel as parents, we also know the outcomes are going to be negative regardless of what we think, right? And this leads me into this next portion. I'll text Chicago real quick, make sure he's good. But this leads me, there we go. You good, brother? Yeah.
Hey, look, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm struggle streaming. I tried to press the mute button. I try and go on. I'm used to being on a panel with 10 other people. So I go on mute so we don't get no echo, and I hit leave the studio. So my bad, man.
Listen, over here, we know how to have conversation and dialogue on this side of the fence. Trust me. No need to use any of those unnecessary resources over here. All right. All voices get heard and respected on this side.
Indeed. Salute.
All right. So
shots fired.
Shots fired. There we go. Channel down.
Right.
So this segues into the perfect conversation in reference to the outcomes, whether we like it or not, the impacts of having broken homes, You know, I think sometimes, like you said, Sir Hale, there's this marketing scheme that tries to champion the idea of being by yourself, right? And we know capitalism is very dangerous because it's all about money. Everything is about money. And when it comes to the Black community, they make so much money off us, whether dead or alive, right? Our struggle is profitable for someone else. Our pros and our cons in life, someone's always making money off of the backs of our success and our failures in life and in death. There's money to be made off of Black people, and they're well aware of that. When we look at the data, and this is I want to talk about this, because when we look at the data on this, here we go. I want to talk about poverty. Let me see. There's a way to zoom in. I think it's Control Plus. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's look at this. This talks about Black families, right? Black families living at or below the poverty line. And for those who don't know about poverty, it's basically essentially discusses how much of what are the necessities that's needed for survival, right? How much does it cost per person to have the necessities for survival? And I believe a single person is like $17,000 a year, right? As long as you make $17,000 a year, you're below poverty, but that's how much you need to make to survive, right? Or to be considered below poverty. And then so I'm gonna look at what it looks like for two people. And then when you start looking at what the necessities are for survival, and you look at how much a person is making, you'll understand why they make the poverty line at that level. So living at or below the poverty line. And we look over here and even better. How about that? Okay, look at this. Look at God. Just automatically working out. Well, let me scroll. All right. So we look at living below the poverty line. We look at 74% are female households with no husbands are living below the poverty line. You guys, this is where the danger is. This is where the danger is. Regardless of how you feel about being by yourself, being a strong, independent woman or strong, independent man, you know, there's consequences, and it's not about you. It's about the children, right? It's about the children. What do we see for married couples? 16% of married couples, Black married couples, are living below the poverty line. What does this say, though? It says that you're better off together at the end of the day, right? You're better off together. The reason why I bring this up, you guys, is because what ChicagoRilla said is so important. There's a duty behind this. This isn't about our feelings. You know, somewhere down the line, I'm going to bring this back up, so I want to get you guys' thoughts on it. Somewhere down the line, we have forgotten what marriage is really about. What is the purpose? Is it about love, or is this about economics? Is this about love, or is it about economics? Which one's priority? I would say economics. It's about legacy. It's about survival. Black people, we have to get back in the mindset that this is survival. This is about survival. Sometimes we look around us and we think that things are better than what it actually is. In reality, it isn't, right? On the surface, things look pretty, but below it, things are hard. It's difficult. COVID is bringing a whole new element, a whole new monster to this world, a whole new monster to families. A lot of families were broken during COVID, right? Because we were attaching ourselves to people for the wrong reasons. The duty, the obligation to one another, you know. I want to get your thoughts on this, you guys. And I think the problem we have in our community is that we are not looking at marriage and relationships as a responsibility, a way of survival, right? This should be the most important decision that we make in our lifetime, is picking a partner. Picking a partner will determine your future and your children's future and generations to come. You, within this timeline, if you pick poorly, could damage 3 generations worth of families, all because of a poor choice. It's very serious. And I think we've removed the seriousness out of dating and relationships, and in picking people to go the mile, to go the distance. Sir Hale, your thoughts on that? And then I'm going to pull back up this pie chart to get your thoughts.
Now, so how transparent can I be? I want to ask this question.
Brother, you could be as transparent. Listen, over here, we do facts over feelings. Tell the people the truth. They need to hear.
Okay, so in our community, what we do is we're focused on penis and pussy. Like, it's about sex, it's about that and provision. So we are so sexual in terms of the way that we live our lives. Yes. And relationships are optional because we can supplement the things we need with, hey, there's programs out here. And the dangerous things is that for women who absolutely need assistance. Now, let's make this clear. There are some people who absolutely need assistance.
Correct.
What has happened, though, is with the availability of assistance, with structure being removed and responsibility not being something that we talk about, it's just so easy to have everything else supplement your life, and so you learn how to survive. I know how to get through the winter. I know how to get through a year. But to live beyond the next few months, to live beyond the next few weeks, and think about not only this next year that I'm living, but the next 5 years, my college tuition, me saving, my investment, my children's emotional development, their social structure, their foundation in terms of who they are as a person. We've become so focused on how good the sex is, what she's bringing, how big her behind is, his size. We're so focused on the external parts because we've supplemented what the spouse was supposed to do with government assistance, with programs, when we could find a way to hone in our out of control sexual desires, hone those in, and stop living for the next sexual experience we're going to have, or the next pair of shoes we can buy, or the next the next loan that we can get, the next income tax check. We got to think beyond that and start looking at the next 5 to 10 years of my life. These government programs might not even be here. But what I can do is put myself in a position to where I prioritize the necessity of family, and not just from the perspective that this man can give me what I want or this woman can do for me, but I'm going into this marriage with the mindset of an investor, that I'm going here and investing, knowing that my returns might come slow, but if I invest slowly, eventually I'm going to reap a harvest. Until we get to the place where marriage is a place where we go to invest, not just for this next year, but for life and for legacy, we're going to be forever talking about the sexual experiences we have when we don't own property, we don't own schools, we don't own our future, because we mortgaged our future because we lived for now and we didn't set up the restraints and the parameters to have successful relationships and marriages. We focus too much on sex, not enough on structure. I think that's one of our problems.
Well, I had to take my hat off. It got too hot. It got too hot in here. I listen, and Brother Nathan, I know you were saying earlier, survival and economics in terms of, the business of marriage. And so,
right.
First of all, let me say this. I look at marriage as a covenant.
Okay.
I look at marriage as an exchange of strengths for weaknesses. My wife is absolutely amazing in certain areas that I'm not. So she covers my blind spots. So where she's weak, I'm stronger, where I'm, and vice versa. Right. Here's the truth of the matter. And this is what I preach to young boys. Yo, focus on legacy, fam. I say this all the time, and I really do mean this, man. If I was, if I had it to do over again, I would have been a virgin until I got married. Why? Because for every notch on my belt, for every chick that I slept with, for everyone that I knocked down, means absolutely nothing now. I'm not with them. Right. And so to Sir Hale, I mean, that's why I was like, ooh, I had to go on mute again, because he was cooking. He's spot on with that. We focus so much. We're influenced so much by, again, what we see in media, what the rap music is telling us, which becomes water cooler conversations, and for some of these kids in school, they're listening to this and influenced by it. But then we're not thinking, we're so busy trying to have fun and have the next rush and the next moment. We're not even thinking about legacy. And for the age group that I'm in right now, it's a lot of brothers. They got their stuff together, man. Their credit score is straight. They got the house. They got the car. But they don't have the children. They don't have the wife. So here's what they don't experience. They'll never know. What they don't experience is legacy, because your legacy is through your seed, right? The legacy of Abraham is cemented forever, especially if, for those of us who are believers. The legacy, I'm a seed of Abraham. If you believe, if you operate as a believer of the Christian faith, right? And so That's legacy through your seed. You get that optimally, and you're able to maximize that through marriage, right? And so when you look at it, and what I teach these young boys, honestly, focus on your purpose, because we should operate as man, husband, father, prophet, priest, king. But I know brothers who are entering a particular stage of life who will never experience that. And they ask, yo, D, how'd you get with her? Or how did you find, like, she's a good girl? How did you? I'm like, bro, you gotta change your mindset. There's dudes out here that still just want to knock everything down 7 ways to Sunday. Okay, you get your nut, and then what? We gotta focus on legacy. That's where it's at. When I hear Dame Dash talk about I hustle for my last name, I feel that. Right? I had a conversation with my sister. My sister told me, my nephew told her one time, why we don't have nothing. You know what he was referencing? The fact that she moved him to a place where he was around people where they had trust funds, they had investments. So he's with people his age talking about stock portfolio investments, and he go, why we don't have nothing? That hurt me, because now I'm sitting up there like, well, dang, why am I not in a position where I own enough of my time where I can have those conversations with my nephew, where he knows he's a part of something and he owns something? So with the rest of my days, that's what I'm building towards, right? It's all about legacy. Marriage is about, family is about legacy.
Yes. Yes. Well said. Well said, ChicagoRilla. Well said, Sir Hale Speaks. You guys, when you're hearing these brothers speak, there's passion behind this, right? We understand there, again, our community is on life support. You know, we did a show over at Uncle Stu, you know, old man from the block. We talked about shout out to Uncle Stu, the breakdown between generations with men. Where did we go wrong? How the baton not get passed properly, you guys? We have to remember our community was under a lot of attack, right? We didn't have a fair shake at this thing. We didn't. You know, we're constantly being disturbed. As we grew, we built cities, they were burned down. You guys, this is the reality. This is the reality, but yet still we rose. We continue to rise despite all of the concerted efforts to bring us down, you guys. We are a very resilient group of people. There's just a few key things that we need to make adjustments, and then we can turn this entire ship around. What does Chicago say that's so true? And Sir Hale also spoke on it. Purpose over pleasure. Purpose over pleasure. This falls on both sides for men and women. We need to focus on our purpose, right? When you operate with the mindset of a man, a mindset of a husband, a mindset of a wife, a mindset of a woman, these things, you start to attract the right people. You know, we have to get into the mentality of our people in order to change this thing around. It's so much harder to just tell somebody what to do. It's like, hey, listen, men, stop throwing your seed around in the wind, right? We have porn, we have OnlyFans. You know, these guys are losing the interest to go out there and hunt for a quality woman. They sit behind a computer and they throw their seed in the trash can every single day, right? What's the problem? You know, the enemy works in very mysterious ways, right? He orchestrates these real subtle attacks that never look like attacks. They're always disguised in the form of pleasure and convenience. And when you fall victim to it, you never realize the end effects, the end results. You guys, all these things are tearing our families apart. Purpose over pleasure. If we can just delay gratification. You know, I tell my nephews, you guys, I don't have any kids yet. I plan to have a whole football team. I want about 5, 6 of them guys, right? Shout out to my brother. He got a whole team. I tell my nephews, I get a chance to practice with them. I tell them all the time that I wish I would have waited longer, right? I wish I would have waited. If I knew what I knew now, I would have waited longer. I tell them, listen, don't even sleep with a woman. If you can't see yourself marrying her or having children with her, at least do that. At least if we all as men just use at least that principle. It's hard to tell a brother not to strap up, right? It's hard. But if you feel like you just got to go, at least make sure the person that you're laying with is someone you see value in, a woman you could see as your wife, a woman you could see that you can have children with, at least. And ladies, same thing. Before you give yourself to a man, make sure that man is worthy. He's a man of men. He has purpose. He's someone your father would respect. He's someone your family would respect, right? Someone that you could see yourself having children with, someone you could see yourself marrying, at least, you guys, the bare minimum. The bare minimum. You know, there's a famous saying when we talk about legacy. There's a famous saying that states, every man, when we talk about legacy, every man before he passes away should plant a tree, write a book, and have a child. Right? Why do I say that? Why is that important? Because these are the only things that live past death. These are the only things that live longer than you. Legacy, you guys. Legacy. You know, with that, I want to lead back into this this pie chart.
Brother Nathan.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
As you do that, are you born and raised in Atlanta?
No. Okay. So I grew up in California.
Okay.
My family's Jamaican. You know, I'm first generation here.
Okay.
And so, you know, there's a cultural shift here on this side.
Got you.
Right.
The reason why I ask is because you were talking about this Baton, and it triggered me because there's a brother named Coco Brother in Atlanta. They used to
yeah. Coco Brother,
yeah. He did. Well, for people, can I tell a story real quick? I'll try and make it as quick as possible, but I'm old and I'm long-winded, and I'm getting into my griot stage, right? Like I'm a griot now, right? So Coco Brother, he was a popular DJ. He was like the number, like after Ludacris went popular or became a famous rapper, he took over Ludacris spot on. It started at Hot 97.5 in Atlanta. Then it was 107.9, and he became a popular DJ, drive time DJ. Well, that 6 to 10 slot, which is the kids like slot, right?
Right.
And he converted to Christianity, started to walk out his faith. So he was doing these events called Exodus. Exodus. Let me tell you what Coco Brother did. I don't know if you were there, Brother Nathan, when they shut down Club 112 on Cheshire Bridge, and then they moved to Peachtree.
Yep.
Coco Brother shut down 10th and Peachtree to 12th. Shut it down. Peachtree, busiest street. Pick a street in your city. If you don't understand what I'm saying, pick a street in your city, wherever you're from. He shut it down to host an event that featured Kirk Franklin, Darlene McCoy, Canton Jones, Evander Holyfield was there. And people thought Kirk Franklin was so dope, man. It was people. The reason why they had to shut down 10th to 12th because everybody couldn't get into 112.
Right.
It was people coming from all over the city. He shut it down in a secular club. Now, why am I'm laying this foundation, but Kirk Franklin he sang a little bit, but he ended up preaching that night. What did he preach about? His son who ran track. He preached this story about his son running track, and they had a meet and they were running in the rain. And he said the guy that was in front of him, you know how you run and you're supposed to catch the baton from the person in front.
Right.
The guy messed up and he dropped the baton. He said he dropped it in the mud. And he made this whole analogy around when the gentleman that was supposed to pass the baton, the young man that was supposed to pass the baton to his son, and he dropped it instead, and he dropped it in mud. He said it didn't matter. His son still had to pick it up.
Correct.
He didn't have time to wipe it off, make it pretty and pristine. He's running, still got to run your race.
Yep.
So it wasn't even fair. And when you said that, I got that CD somewhere, man. It's a powerful. I was sitting in 112 crying because what he was talking about was I didn't get the baton passed to me from my father. And this is what I share with these young bloods. This is why I don't stand in their way. I'm trying to give you the baton. My legs are gone, bro. This is all you now.
Yep.
I'm going to give you the game. I'm going to give you the tools. I'm going to give you the resources. I'm going to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. But this leg of the fight is on with you all. That's why I'm so passionate about these young bloods. So when you said that, man, I was like, was he there that night? Bro, imagine being whatever club, Beat, Compound,
right.
Velvet Room. Imagine being in a club of all places, and you hear a powerful message like that. And I was like, man, And he was like, yo, he's like, ladies, I don't mean to alienate y'all or nothing like that, but brothers know what that means when you ain't get that baton handed to you from your daddy. And we make excuses. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Sir Hale, before I move forward, I want you to respond to that, because that was a very powerful description of the baton falling in the mud. I felt chills when you said that, because that is, that's the truth as men.
That's powerful. That's powerful. But I think it speaks to what manhood is all about. Yes. Sometimes it's just not fair. And if we sit around waiting for the circumstances to be right, we're going to be waiting forever. We got to simply pick it up out the mud and not judge the mud, but judge it because we have to, it's necessary for us to run the race. That's what I hear when I hear that. We got to quit talking about the mud now. We got to start talking about the race.
There you go. There you go. You guys, and listen, welcome to my channel, right? It's all about the race at this point. People don't like when I say it. I say there's a difference between complaining and competing. No one cares about the complaints. No one does anymore. When it comes to our communities, we've heard the complaints. They're marketed very well, very professionally. At the end of the day, we got to compete. We got to compete to change the ship around. Let me go through the super chats real quick. I can't pull them up on the screen, you guys, so I apologize. Bear with us. The struggle streaming is real. We're going to start with Humble Dad. Humble Dad, thank you so much. I've got a chance to hear that brother speak as well. It's always a pleasure. Everybody's familiar with Humble Dad. He dropped an amazing super chat, $20. Thank you so much, sir. He said, love this dialogue. He said, make sure we provide several answers. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm all about solutions over here. And the brother's got the assignment. Scroll through. You guys, if you have any questions you want to bring up, you might have to super chat the questions in. The stream is long. It's long. We got a lot to cover. Shout out to Seattle Black Veteran. He's always supporting. Thank you so much, sir, for this super chat. He said, always a great show, my brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me scroll on through. The amazing Dre, dropping gems, Jenkins, Blanco, he's in the building. That's my homie from the beginning, from the mud. When we talk about coming from the mud, from the police academy, we rolled up together. That brother's pushing on strong. We talk about the value of having Black men in positions of power, positions of leadership, to have influence through our community. That brother is doing hard work. He's working in the DA's office. We know we need brothers over there checking them charges. So like, hold up now. Hold up. Now you hitting them with an extra 2 years. Timmy came through, you hit him with 1. Let's keep it fair, right? That's what we need. That's why when we talk about Black men on their purpose, Black men in leadership positions, that's what we're looking for, to make sure we're looking after one another, you guys. It's only fair. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. So shout out to Dre. He said, once you understand your true value, you'll stop giving people discounts. If that ain't a word for it. Fellas, what's our value? What's our value? Ladies, what's your value? We're in this together. Tawana G, shout out to Tawana.
Oh, shout out to-
Okay, Tawana.
West side.
All right.
Wait. But brother Nathan, you said a word. Just 1 second. Can we
let's do it,
gentlemen? What is your value? Yep. See, little girls hear that all the time. Baby girl, you valuable. Baby girl, gentlemen, do you understand you valuable too, young man?
Yes.
You have worth too. Sir Hale, please jump in here. Don't leave me on the island by myself, man. Gentlemen, you are valuable. You are needed.
Yes.
You are appreciated.
Yes.
You have worth. I know when you get out here in the real world and you're beginning to chisel. I talk about this thing chiseling, right?
All right.
What I think about is like when somebody is sculpting something. I was saying this last night and they was like, I said, what's the chisel thing? And they said, it's a chisel. Right? But that's how I see men being made.
Right.
And brother Dre is 1000% correct. Once you understand your value, stop giving these people stop giving your homeboy that's telling you to go knock baby down because she got a fatty. Stop giving them discount. Stop subjecting yourself to, man. Hey man, we finna go move this. Well, they don't even move weight no more. What do they do? Perks, Mollies. I don't even know what they do anymore. Lean. Right. What do they do? I don't know what they doing. I'm gonna join this gang, man. I got a whole story. We got to do a whole nother show. I got a whole story about these goofies when I was in Georgia and they was gang banging, and I hear them with they claiming this gang spit your lid, and they
right.
Stop subjecting yourself to that dumbness. Because when you understand, when you focused on purpose and you know what you were put here to do, man, you ain't finna let nothing deter you from that. Sorry, please jump in, sir. Please jump in.
Fathers and men, unlock the greatness in these boys. It is so hard for kids to discover who they are if they don't have something to see. And I encourage all men, uncles, pastors, cousins, find young men and systematically pull out the greatness in them. Tell them not only what they're supposed to do. Don't tell them just what they have to be. Tell them who they are, because when they understand who they are, they move with a certain power and with a certain grace and with a certain level of integrity. So I'm putting the demand on fathers and on uncles and on pastors and on politicians. Unlock the young men, because when they understand who they are on the inside, it's going to reflect on the outside. Shout out to Rilla for the gospel he just preached.
Listen, if y'all don't pass that plate in the chat, I don't know what to tell you. I told you these brothers were sharp. Listen, you guys, I don't bring foolishness up on my panel. These brothers know what they're talking about. This is a movement. This is a movement. And let me tell you, shout out to Tawana G. Said, shout out to Rilla, right? She said, competing is like a foreign concept, but it's necessary. Thank you for being honest. You guys, this is competition. I say it all the time. This is a race between races, and we're the only ones not playing on the team. Whether you want to play on the team or not, if you ride the bench, you guys, the game is still going to influence. Whether you play or not, you better just play on the team. We need this team concept. We have to understand. We're not going to get anywhere as individuals. We're talking about the poverty rate. When you play by yourself, you put yourself in poverty. That's the reality, you guys. That's the reality. Let's dive into this. Let me pull this.
Nathan?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, brother.
Now,
go ahead.
Can I invoke a Rilla?
Absolutely. You can invoke a Rilla. Go ahead. Hey, go ahead. Go ahead. Drop the gems.
It is so important for men who are listening to this now, who are in poverty, to understand that it does not have to stay this way. I want you to hear this clearly. It does not have to stay this way. You have within you all the ingredients necessary to make a change. I'm not speaking this because I've written a book or because I've read some things or had a great seminar. You're looking at a man who has come from poverty, who's come from fatherlessness, who did not graduate high school, and yet still with the grace of God, still found a way through wisdom and through determination to be something. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you are right now. You have it within you, even when the world says you're invisible because you don't have a certain amount of money, or you're not driving a certain car, or you don't live in a certain apartment, or you don't live in a certain community. Even if the girls that you want don't want you, beyond all of that, you have it within you to change your circumstances. So do not lose hope. As a matter of fact, I want you to be like a lion. You've been living like a sheep, but I need you to change your mindset and live like a lion. Sheeps wait for everything. Lions get out and go take it because they understand who they are. Now, they're not always in fighting mode, but when it's time to compete, they don't ask permission. They don't ask questions. They're not looking for validation. They're not looking for anybody's approval. You, sir, are a lion, and it is time for you to live like it. That's my plug.
Listen, you guys are going to think we're over here mining gems. Listen, my channel is now going to become what we call the mining part, right? The mining circle. That's what we're going to call it. Hey, listen, when we bring these brothers together, it's going to be called the mining circle. We're mining gems. We're mining gems. We're going to give them out. We're giving them out for free. You guys, it's more important that you have this information, share this content, right? Thank you so much for that, Sir Hale. He said,
It's not free. It's not free, Nathan. It's not free.
It's not free?
No, I'm going to tell you why it's free. I'm gonna tell you why it's not free.
Let's do it.
When you get this gem, in order for you to experience the full benefit, it's gonna cost you everything when you apply it.
Whew. Yes. Sacrifice, right? We talk about the beauty of sacrifice. Delayed gratification. Are you willing to do it? Are you willing to make the sacrifice for the greater good, right? Right now we're planting seeds. It's more important we plant the seeds. And listen, we might not always be the same one to see this fruit grow, right? Sometimes we plant the seed. Then we leave it for someone else to water it. That's passing the baton. And then we leave it for someone else to shine the light on it. right? The water, the light. Now we're having something grow, you guys. It takes time. But if we're not planting the seeds, we'll never have the fruit. We know that for a fact. And so let's go ahead and dive into this piece here about the demographics. Living below the poverty line. We talk about when we operate as individuals, we run the risk of being below poverty, right? This is a real thing. It's a real problem. Rilla, what are your thoughts on this?
We know that the family, two-parent household, the nuclear family is the building blocks for wealth, right? For even building and transferring generational wealth. Yes. Even something as simple, and I'm learning this later and understanding the nuances of why, like I'm getting the details now in terms of how wealth is transferred in one generation by doing something as simple as life insurance.
Yes.
Something as simple as having a life insurance policy, right? And so my thoughts on this, I mean, again, for me, nuanced, anecdotal, in Chicago, and I grew up Southside Wild, but for a time, there was a time, my peoples are from Robert Taylor projects, and I'm talking about high rise. There was a time, third and fourth grade, I lived in Cabrini Green. Okay, when you look at good times, when you look at the opening credits, there's a pan of a building that was 911 North Hudson. We stayed there. And this is the one thing I love about being a man, because Sir Hale is on point. I grew up in what would have been considered poverty or below the poverty line then, but as a man, I was able to adjust and make the shift. And so, again, this goes back to what we've been saying all night, man. In order to come out of this, and in order to impact and change these numbers, because again, here's the other thing, and I don't think you said this, Shed. Do you know what our disposable income level is, or what our disposable income is?
No, that's actually a good question, and I never even thought to even look that up.
1.6 trillion.
Oh, yes, that I do know how much money we spent. Okay, yes.
Well,
last year.
Yeah, disposable income, yeah.
Okay.
Spending power.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same difference. 1.6 trillion. And imagine what would happen if we began to make that dollar circulate within our community. We began to employ people that look like how much of that bottom line could we impact if we were more intentional with our dollar, number one, but even more importantly, if we were intentional with how we partner up and pair bond and select the right mate. So
yes,
what's my thought on that, man?
Go ahead, sir.
So a couple of things. One, I want to give a shout out to my mother. Here's why. It's sometimes you're in a situation where you're in poverty, and sometimes being in poverty, you can work your way through that. I think one of the things that's so important is just don't allow poverty to get here.
Correct.
One thing that my mother did for me that I cannot give her enough credit for. Now, Rilla, you're from Chicago, so you're going to know what I'm talking about, because I'm from Chicago Heights, Illinois. So take Halsted down, right? Take Halsted down, straight down to Chicago Heights. I'm in Beacon Hill. One thing she would do, yep. So one thing, come on, when it was Cub Foods, it was then to turn into Ultra Foods, right? So we were there, and one thing she did is she would drive us out to these very nice homes. She would drive us out because her thing was, I want to plant seeds. I want to show you what you can be. I want to show you what you can have. Right. My mother went so far to say, don't live your life bragging on everybody else, because you could have it too. She went further to now we Christians, right? You guys know Proverbs. She went through Proverbs, and she would say, son, you are a king. You can't talk just any way. You can't conduct yourself in just any kind of way. Now, listen, we're living in a particular, and so quote unquote poverty. We're not living in, a luxurious life. But what she did is she planted seeds. And I think that is so important before we get bigger houses, before we get big checks, before we get dope cars and great jobs, that we got to systematically change our mindset about what we are and what's important. And once we start working on what's up here, then these stats are going to change. because the numbers don't change. These stats don't change unless our head does. Ooh. And that's what I want to focus on. And so when I see this is what I think of. The numbers say red, but I think our mentality is in the red, and we've got to change that.
Okay, very well said. Yes, the mentality is the issue. And like you guys both said, the behavior, right? If we adjust these behaviors, we can make a difference. When we look at down here, we're looking at above the poverty line, we see very simple, married couples and families. This is in the Black community. Above the poverty line, we're looking at 53%. You know, so again, this just echoes what you guys are saying, that with the right mentality, choosing better, having that right mindset of duty, purpose, and fulfillment of the nuclear family, we can turn the poverty around. And why do I focus so much on the poverty, right? Why do I focus so much on the poverty? Because crime is associated to it. Also, the dysfunction of our children are associated to that poverty. And that's one of the things that we're going to tap into next. And I want to say it like this, you guys. As an officer, what do I see when I come in our communities? I see a lot of our women who are having a hard time raising and disciplining, right? Kids get to a certain age where sometimes they lose the respect of the parent. You know, there's no balance there. And it becomes very hard for them to address the issues and the troubles that come about as these kids are growing and changing. This goes the same for young boys as much as it does for young girls. What have I seen? I've seen when the young girls act out, it's usually surrounding around sexual behavior, right? They're exposed to sex too soon, right? They are giving their bodies away. They're being preyed upon. They're not protected, right? And then when I see with young boys, I see them acting out. They become delinquent, right? They start stealing. They start robbing. They start going to the streets for answers. They start trying to put themselves and attach themselves around people that they believe to be father figures, right? These are gang members. These are criminals. And they start looking up to the wrong people. They start idolizing the wrong men. And they start mimicking that behavior. They're looking at the music. They're listening. They're watching the videos. And they want to mimic and also adjust their personalities to become the people that they are seeing on television, right? And so again, this is all because we have that absent figure, that absent role model in that child's life, and it has consequences. I want to, if anybody wants to speak to that, I'm going to bring up the next screen that I'm going to share. So Hale, do you want to talk about that? Just the influence of not having a father around, or ChicagoRilla, whoever wants to dive into it first.
Oh, you know, big bro got to go first.
So here's my thoughts, because I think you hit it spot on, right? I know, you know, people I see it in my family, like nephews, cousins, and so on and so forth, and the fathers are not there. You know, one thing about me, the way that I grew up, there was a time where I got the poking my chest out at my mom's. Guess who was there to push it back in for me? It wasn't my father. My uncles was there though.
Right.
See, we used to get. It wasn't chastised. It was chastised, is what they called it. You big enough to poke your chest out, poke it right back in for you. Straightened up real quick. And so, Nathan, what I wanted to throw back on you is, you know, I know definitely at the poverty line level, and I think about Atlanta in particular, but when I think about like Riverdale, Clayton County, you know, I think about those mothers in those communities that work really hard.
Yeah.
And let me bring it to an example that I think people could relate to. When I think about Migos, right? They North Atlanta, Lawrenceville, it's fairly decent community.
Middle class. Yeah, it's middle class.
It's middle class.
Yeah, perfect example.
And you got dudes coming from single mothers talking about I'm moving weight and better. So you know what I call them? I call them Theo Huxtable thugs. These are the Theo Huxtable thugs. You come from a decent home.
Yep.
Come from a decent upbringing, yet and still you find your nasty little narrow tail out into the streets doing weird stuff.
Right, because we popularized it in our community. Right, we made it popular.
On that.
Yep, We made it popular to emulate the lifestyle of criminals, right? We've made it popular. A lot of people can't name on one hand how many television shows starring white men, white women, where they're certified drug dealers, right? I can name Ozark, but even the father was an accountant of a major corporation, right? So it wasn't like these are the bottom of the slums type of people who are living in the hood, living in the ghetto, trying to make ends meet, and they're slinging dope and they get on top. You can't name me 5 shows where it's predominantly white people who are glorifying the acts of crime, drug dealing, gangs, right? When you Google thug and gangster, Black and Hispanic faces come up, not white, right? All of our shows that we put so much Snowfall, Power, right? The Wire, these are all African Americans. We love this stuff. But though the problem is, though it may be entertaining, the issue is you have impressionable children, Black men and Black girls, who have a hard time separating themselves from the entertainment. They can't tell the difference. And not only that, it's preached, it's uplifted, and it's supported in our community, and kids see it and they want to emulate the lifestyle.
Can I say this just really quick?
Ahead.
I'm gonna pull a Rilla on Rilla. Okay. And I know Courtney is in the chat and she'll appreciate this. And if you, well, sorry, Hal, I know your age. I don't know if you can speak to this, and Nathan, I don't know your age, but in the 90s, because people like to say, it's just entertainment. It don't mean nothing. It don't influence nothing. I would love for somebody to go back and look in the late 80s, early 90s, where you had every Thursday, 7 p.m. and then 7:30, you had the Cosby Show come on.
Right.
Then you had A Different World. I want you to look at HBCU enrollment and HBCU pride in the early 90s and you will make a distinct correlation in that boom of enrollment based on those 2 programs. It was entertaining, but it was highly influential in how we saw ourselves, right? So for me, that's why I wear this hat, because I always say, like, I'm an honorary Panther, right? Like, I didn't go there, but I had a homegirl that when I first moved to Atlanta, she went to Clark and she was in engineering, and she allowed me to come to class with her. And when I would go, and this is like homegirl, no funny business or nothing like that, but when I would go, it was literally like seeing Dwayne Wayne and Whitley Gilbert and Denise Huxtable on campus, man. Messed my mind. Well, not messed. It set me straight.
Right.
And so that's the power of an influence of media and entertainment. Yes. It has an impact.
Yeah, I want to add to this. Mine is on, but I've something that I've noticed.
Okay.
Is if your Black don't match my Black, you ain't Black. Ooh. That makes sense. So I give you one. So if I'm hood, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way. I mean, if I pronounce myself, I'm from the hood, and you are with your old preppy, with your old Carlton Banks looking, with your old, right? Well, what I'm doing is I'm saying that your Black ain't my Black. Now I'm questioning your Blackness. Yeah. Then let's push the context. Now let's say I'm up from a preppy school. I speak, the King's English. I do all that good stuff, right? And because you don't, now I look at you a certain way, because now your Blackness is dirty. And I think that until we get to the place where I can respect you're Black, regardless to how you approach or talk or the way you dress, that who you are is not necessarily tied to how you appear. I think we have to change that, because we do that a lot. We discriminate within our own race and within our own culture. And that is something that has to stop.
Yikes. You caught me off guard with that one, Sir Hale, because that's the epitome of the problem that I have, even on my channel, being a police officer. Just the other day, I was on Kwame Brown's channel. Shout out to Kwame Brown. He's an amazing content creator. You guys are familiar with him. And we had some powerful discussions over there. And through the chat, every now and then I glimpse over there, people say, hey, he's a cop. We don't F with 12. He's a spy. He's a sellout. He's a Uncle Tom. God forbid if somebody actually knew Uncle Tom was the hero in Uncle Tom's Cabin, right? So again, what do they call? They call me a slave catcher. We do these things to our own people. In the moment, we are here and we're trying to find solutions. People will not listen to me simply because of the profession that I'm in, right? Again, this goes back to the brainwashing of how we glorify bad behavior. We glorify the criminal element. You know, Jay-Z has this lyric. He says, he talks about the street culture. He says, murder and mayhem, romance for the streets, right? These are his lyrics. He said, boy, and I'll tell you, to be the bestseller. And he's absolutely correct, right? Murder and mayhem. This is what we glorify, you know, and our kids are listening to this. And again, they are starting to mimic. What else do they talk about in the music? They talk about how much they hate the police, because the police are here to actually bring down, right? To actually remove this criminal element, to create accountability in our communities. So what do these kids see now? They say, listen, our favorite rapper hates the police. I gotta hate them too. You know, and if you're a cop in our community, you're considered not black. You're considered a sellout, right? And that starts to alienate, again, like you said, you start pushing away people who want to do this job, who want to do other jobs similar to it, or just want to be something different. We're not a monolith, right? You know, and we say that all the time. We are all different. But unfortunately, there's a segment of our community that starts to alienate people as soon as they feel like you're not good enough, or you don't fall into the parameters of what they choose or what they decide is black. And like you said, King's English, I've had women tell me before in the past, hey, you speak too articulate, you sound white. You sound white. You know, look at some of the opportunities I missed out on dating women because I sound white. What does that mean? You know, when you can pick and choose whether or not a person is black or not, right? Or someone says, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. People understand the ignorance of our people better than we do. They know how to play on those emotions. They play on those ignorance. When someone can say, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. A lot of people miss the undertone and that meaning, right? In that one phrase that was spoken, there was a rift between black people deciding, damn, I was going to vote for him, but I don't want people to think that I'm not black.
Facts.
The mind games.
You know, when you talk about F12, I debated whether I was going to do this or not. I have to shout out the officers that I know that's still doing work in Cobb County and Clayco, and my children's granddad. I still call him Pops, retired APD.
That's what's up. Shout out.
Retired APD. One of my high school classmates does a lot of good work with mentor teacher brother, and he's an officer. My sister-in-law, her guy is retired Chicago police. These are brothers who took up the shield. There's one more I'm forgetting. My homegirl, we don't talk as much, but my homegirl that's Cook County Sheriff up here. These are people who took up the shield that I know their character, that I would never say F12 to them.
Right.
I would never say that to them. And what I wanted to say on the heels of what you were speaking on, Brother Nathan, honestly, the sentiment of F the Police by NWA has ravaged and damaged our community for almost 4 decades now.
Yeah.
For one song, 4 decades. And we are supreme. We got to change that narrative, man. We got to change that narrative.
And it was taken out of context because what was going on during that time was real. It was real issues. It was there was a poor relationship that law enforcement had with the community. You had black officers who barely had enough power to stop the white officers from abusing their power. So it was, the sentiments were real, and I can relate. And some of those things are still true today. And I think it was taken out of context, and we didn't really build it properly. The message should have been, yeah, F the police. How about we bring better officers to the team? How about we raise our own people up to be better officers? How do we train our own people to police ourselves, right? There was a way it could have been spun in a way that would have helped us for generations to go, right? We talk about the muddy baton in the water. And I picked up a muddy baton, you guys. And here I am, I'm trying to run it. And I'm doing it the best that I can. I'm not complaining about the mud. And it's so real when you say that, because that is what I received in this hand. And like so many other black officers, men and women who put on that uniform, and people understood the history of what Black officers or Black people had to do to become in the uniform, we would have more respect for them. You know, I said it before on a video I did about Black police history. And I talked about how in 1867, this was shy, just a couple years shy of slavery being abolished, brothers put the uniform on, wasted no time and got to work because they understood the value of capturing that power dynamic for our people. And now we can barely get brothers to put the uniform on because we've pushed them away from the job, you know? And so you guys, if you haven't checked out that video, it's in my library, my content library, about Black history, Black police history, and the story behind that, even how Atlanta Police Department started and what they had to go through, you know? Sir Hale, you want to chime in on that? And I'm gonna bring up this data.
Nothing to say on that point.
All right. Ooh, you guys, we cooking.
Back to the Blue Phoenix Initiative, man.
Woo! Listen, you guys.
Initiative.
Go ahead.
Now I'm seeing that somebody put it in the chat, and I'm like, oh, I'm looking. Hey, listen, man. Yeah, we got work to do, and you, brother, you doing the work, man. I text you. I'll say this on camera, man. I got chills right now. Literal goosebumps. You doing the Lord's work, brother. God is covering you, and it's just amazing. The amount of dedication that you have, and the fortitude that you have to keep going. That's all I keep thinking about when I see you, man. Because I'm like, man, again, you could have been peace, niggas. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
But here you are, you know, an example of why it can never be just F12. Because guess what? If something happens, somebody breaking my car, you know who I'm calling? 12.
Facts.
Something happened to my wife or something like that. 12.
Yes.
So it's you know, they try and popularize it and make it cool when they doing something nefarious and they come on the block and they yell 12. So they come.
Yes.
12, man. It's we got to build those relationships, man. We got to build relationships.
And I really appreciate you saying that. And the reality is we gotta put better people in the uniform, right? It's not the profession, it's the people. You know, it's the people. We need better people, and let our community, let us decide who we want in those uniforms, right? That's the conversation that I like to have when we talk about solutions. You know, complain all you want. Can't complain on white people this, white people that, right? You can't complain on white folks all the time and then turn around and beg them to solve your problems. So unless you guys step up, shut your mouths. And that goes for all professions, all industries. If you don't like the way it's being done, do it yourself. You know, everybody don't respect the trash man until your trash start piling up. All right. No one respects the police until the crime gets out of control. Atlanta right now, they're begging for more bodies. They need more bodies. You know, just last year, they said, we don't want the police over here patrolling our communities. Now the crime is through the roof. We had a 15-year-old take someone's life, you know? And so again, let's bring this up because I think this is what it's all about. What happens when we don't have those fathers present? These kids, we talk about the young men, you know, they're raised under umbrella of emotions. They lack the ability of conflict resolution. Just last week, we had a man who waited for a woman outside of a bowling alley here in Atlanta, and he took her life over a disagreement, right? During the pandemic, we had a lady in a convenience store. She's a clerk. She's talking to a brother in the line. She's asking him if he can put his mask on. They get into an argument. He goes to his car. He comes back and he takes her life. These overly emotional men. It's a problem. It's a problem. You guys, let's dive into this data real quick. I want to show you guys something. Let me bring this up. What we are looking at, this is for 2019. This is the FBI data. This data is collected from all the police departments about the amount of arrests that are made. They do it based off of gender, ethnicity. They do it based off of location. They do it based off of types of crimes, type of weapons that are used. The FBI puts all this together so we have a better understanding of what's going on. What we are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is arrest for those under the age of 18. And here we have the race below it. Of course, you guys, we're going to focus on this group right here. This is our group. This is the group we're responsible for. We can't control nobody else. But it's always nice to look and see what other people are doing before we get back on our race, right? Right now, as we see, when it comes to total offenses charged, these are the amount of people who have been charged with a crime for the year of 2019. Under the age of 18, we're looking at white people, 296,000, Black, 161,000 under the age of 18. One would argue that the numbers are quite the same. I would say beg to differ, you guys. The disproportionate issue here is that we're 13% of the population. White people make up 60%. Look how low their number is for them to be 60% of the population, you guys. We are approximately 44 million in the United States. This is our arrest for under age 18. These are our Black men and women. What are we looking at? This is murder, manslaughter, 314 under the age of 18, right? We have juveniles and kids are committing murder and homicide. We talk about grape. We know what time it is with that word. We're looking at robbery, 7,000 under the age of 18. If we look at our counterparts, 4,000, you guys. We look at aggravated assault. This is attempted murder and all rights. Attempted murder. When you've done something physically to harm someone to the extent that they could have lost their life or could have damaged their body in such an extreme way where they lose the use of their limbs, right? Burglary. Look at the number difference. This is under the age of 18. Theft are pretty much the same, right? Pretty much the same. Motor vehicle theft, pretty much the same. This is under the age of 18 for Black youth. Property crimes, we see violent crimes, pretty much the same, you guys. We go deeper, property crime, pretty much the same. We look at other assaults, there's a difference there. The number's still high. We go down to some of my favorite types of crimes I like to investigate, fraud. These are the offenses. Stolen property. Listen, the list goes on. Weapons, carrying and possession of weapons. Starch difference there, though. Check this out. Prostitution. The same. The same. Drug abuse and violations. Listen, this number is very high for the white community, and there's a reason why. You guys, if those who don't know, one of the leading cause of death of white people is suicide. You know, that's not our leading cause of death. In our community, it's diet-based, diabetes, cardiac-related issues, and homicide, you guys. Homicide is one of our top leading causes of death in our community, right? Why do I say this is a problem? When we talk about how much crimes juveniles are committing, what do they say? 70%, approximately 70% of juveniles who are committing these crimes, the correlation they find with this is an absent father. An absent father. 70% of them don't have fathers. So we talk about the power of being able to curb the crime in our communities with our juveniles just for having fathers present. Now, some would argue co-parenting is a thing. That's a new thing in this generation that we're in. I agree. But then we also have to look at what value marriage brings and why it's so different. The foundation, the structure, the intentionality behind marriage is so different than co-parenting. Not to say co-parenting doesn't work. We're saying that the cure is better than the placebo, right? So Hale, go ahead.
Yeah. So a couple things. One is we're talking about fathers. I don't think that we give fathers enough credit on emotional intelligence. Now, let me tell you why I say this. We often think about emotions from the perspective of the first thing that Black guys get. Stop all that crying. That's the range of emotions we get. Stop crying. Right. And what fathers do is they give you structure. That structure, that emotional structure. When I studied emotional intelligence from this great author, Daniel Goleman, We talk about the four elements of emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness. It is understanding me, my traits, my own feelings. And I know that word feelings is a trigger word in our community. Like you say that word, it's an instant debate because, man, you shouldn't be in your feelings, right? It's an instant debate when we start talking about this. The other part of that is the self-management. Once I understand my traits, my feelings, who I am, why I am the way that I am, and how to manage those. The other part of that is the social awareness that come with that. So once I know who I am, now I understand how I am and how I fit inside of the community that I'm in. And then from there, the relationship management. This is my ability to understand myself that gives me the ability to empathize and understand other people. Fathers give that. And I think that we haven't gotten enough credit because we don't use those words. But when we have fathers telling you, hey, you can't cry about everything. Hey, think through this, right? Just because you failed and you messed up, get up and try again. These are the emotional intelligent, that this is the foundation of that fathers give. And when we don't have this, kids, this is what kids get. When they start acting out, is shut up, be quiet, go in your room. He got a behavioral problem in school. Put him on some medicine. Put him in timeout. And so what we start doing is we start addressing the symptoms of a deeper issue, and that is not having that foundation on knowing that it's okay to have these feelings that I don't know what to do with because I haven't lived life before. I'm under 10 years old. I don't know what to do with these feelings, and I don't have somebody there to help me to navigate through that, and which is why this expresses itself in what is natural to me, aggression. But it's why we start getting into the crime. We start getting into things that we can express that aggression because we don't have that foundation. So when I hear those stats, I don't think we give fathers enough credit for that foundation that they provide. That is something that fathers absolutely do. And I think we have to appreciate that in our fathers.
Sir Hale, I agree 1000%. I think one of the things that you were talking about is how, you see a young man that has a lot of energy and I first sit down, be still, be quiet, know your place, and I'll say this, there is a time for that, but I don't think people understand boys are naturally hyper. They're active. So you know what happens when a father sees that? Let's go outside. Let's go throw the football. Or like shoot, I don't do it now, but I used to race my boys. I used to smoke them. I can't do that no more, right? But you wear them out. You burn that, like, because we know, like, you burn that energy, and I think it's just so much easier because even when they go into a school structure, what are they surrounded by? There's not many men there. When I used to show up to my kids' school, shout out to Mr. Jones. I don't know if he's still there at Lake City Elementary down there in Forest Park, but he was one of the few Black teachers that was actively involved with them young boys. He was one of the few men there that those kids respected and that he understood what they were going through. When I would show up for PTA meet, it was like they just saw a unicorn, right? And so you spot on with it, brother. You spot on. Like, men do not get in, and I think the narrative for so long has been, I don't need a man. I don't And so you got people that are actually say out their mouth, they would rather go out here, create a baby, and raise them without the father. That's the most selfish thing you could do.
Yeah.
That's selfish. He needs you. And I know this co-parenting thing is a new phenomenon. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a fan of it. There's nothing like, I'm not in the house with my boys right now. They in Atlanta. That's nothing like me being it. Man, them boys waking up, see my face. You understand what I'm saying? I'm finna go for a run. Dad, we going with you.
Right.
Me walking them to school. We're having conversations about life. I have a namesake. Looks just like me, right? And man, I keep telling that boy, come up here with me so you can learn about yourself.
That's right.
Look, listen to this. There are conversations that I would have with that boy because I'm dark skinned. I mean, I know my skin popping, y'all can see it, but I'm dark skinned, right? And I
got them filters on. Go ahead.
I knew he was going through issues with being dark skinned down there in Clayton County. right? So I talked to him about it. I didn't wait for him to come to me. Dad, how did you know that? I said, boy, you me. You are me.
Right.
Well, the conversation is like having a conversation with my younger self. And I think women don't get that. And when you alienate the fathers out of the picture because you know everything about nothing, you're doing a disservice to that child. That's a grandma-ism, Nathan. You know everything about nothing.
I like that. That's the first time I heard that. That's dope.
Yeah, that's my grandma.
That's prolific, bro.
Yeah,
that's prolific. When you were saying that, it made me think of our men don't have mirrors.
Yeah,
we don't have good mirrors. I don't have anything to see myself back into. Rilla, that's important. It makes me want to go have conversations with my two boys because I too went through that whole dark skin. Now listen, I love my dark skin now. Can't nobody tell me nothing now.
Bruh.
What?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? Come on, somebody, right? But growing up as a kid and you don't have a man to tell you this, right. If your mama say, really, you know, you got black skin, well, you taking it as your mama's supposed to say that.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Whereas a man is going to tell you how, all right, you don't feel so good. This is how you going. This is soap you need to use. Clean your face up. You can't be having snot on your nose, right? Can't be having crumbs in your eyes, right? A lot of our men don't have mirrors, and the mirrors that they do have are not providing a reflection of who they are to become. That's a fantastic point, man. I thank you for saying that.
Ooh, you know, we talk about the power of chocolate. Right now, the ladies in the chat are seeing something so magnificent, right? These are the chocolate brothers of tomorrow, today, and of yesterday, right here in front of you, right? All three milk duds. We are here strong and ready to take on the challenge. You know, what's funny, you guys say growing up is difficult, right? And really, you brought it up. Kids are wicked, man, with each other. They'll tease you. You have to have nerves of steel coming through these ranks, especially in our community. And, you know, when I was younger, my head was real small, but my lips were the same size they are now. You know, I had to... They used to call me sausage lips, you know, and I used to go home after getting suspended for beating the mess out of somebody. I had to talk to my mom. I said, Mom, listen, they joning on me, right? They clowning me. I talk about my lips. She said, son, listen, you know, those lips that you have, when you get older, he said, people are paying money to have those lips that you got right now. You know, it's so important. You know, my dad talked about the same things about your features. He said, listen, these features represent power. You know, people desire these things that are on your face. You know, they desire your skin tone. People put themselves in beds of light and heat just to get your complexion. You know, when you don't have someone to give you these gems of life, to make you understand the power of who you are, show you how much you're valued, to show you that you're someone worthy to be loved, that you should love yourself more than anything, right? And so again, as young men coming up, it's so important. You know, when we talk about co-parenting, my father was still present, even when he was absent, right? After my parents' divorce, what did I realize? Co-parenting is cool, it works, but there are moments when the father is needed and he cannot be there, right? There are moments and circumstances and incidents that co-parenting creates some issues for the child. You know, my father couldn't be present one day where I needed to go to a function where I was receiving an award. And I didn't realize that you had to have a tie. You guys, I was a teenager. You had to have a tie at this event. All my life, going to church and all that, we always had clip-on ties, right? So the only ties that were present were the ones you had to actually tie yourself. My father wasn't present that day to teach me how to tie a tie. You know who taught me? My mother. My mother was the one who showed me. You guys, so when we talk about fathers not being present, sometimes they miss some critical moments in the life of men as we're maturing and as we're growing. And this is no shot to fathers or to mothers, but just as a young boy, I'm remembering this as this conversation goes on, right? The young boy in me is remembering this moment where my father wasn't present. Though he was active, he wasn't there. And sometimes you can still be a thought and still be absent, you know? And so again, the beauty of marriage, the beauty of maintaining this nuclear family, it's not for you, it's for them, right? It's for them. It's always about the kids. And sometimes we get in these relationships where one or the other person, male or female, we leverage our children against each other, right? We leverage the children against one another because we're hurt, we're frustrated, we're angry, whatever it might be, you know. And I think that leads us perfectly into this next conversation, you guys. Why do men leave? Right? This conversation is about Black men, Black fathers, Black boys. Why do men leave?
All right, I want to jump into this one really quickly. A couple of things, because we don't have an example of what it takes to stay. So when you don't have an example of what it takes to stay, let's get real for a second.
Okay.
A lot of our generations did not learn how to be together. We learned how to live together.
Right.
We learned how to have children together. We did not learn how to live together. You see what I'm saying? Like going through the nuances of life, that when you're in your 20s, it's going to change when you're in your 30s. And when you hit 40, it's going to be a different thing too. And then when your mama dies, it's going to change some things. And your dad is not there, it's going to change some things. And then when you have your second child, your body's not going to be the same anymore. And then you got health issues. And then you got financial issues. Now you're dealing with stress. The kids are getting older now, they're getting on your nerves. Right now, your kids are fast. Now somebody got a different sexual orientation. We're not taught how to live together when life changes. And so because of this, we have this term that I hate, is I got options. Hey, you don't give me what I want in this moment because I am a person of value. Well, let me go find somebody else and let's go rebuild this. And let me give them what I should be giving you, because the investment is too hard now. Now, this is overall. Let's get into some specifics. A lot of our men don't know, because they don't have those mirrors, that there are going to be times in your marriage where you don't feel appreciated, and it's going to suck. It won't matter how many bills you pay. It won't matter here's the thing. It's not about being celebrated for what they see. They won't even understand the things you do behind the scenes that they'll never know to make sure that they're good. The stressors you take on, the pains you take on, the way you shield your wife from not knowing certain things because you don't want her worried about certain things, keeping your family protected, knowing that if something were to happen, you are ready to put your life on the line without any hesitation. If there is a fire, I'm getting my family out of there. If there's a crisis, I'm going to solve it. If we need money, I'm going to work and do 2 or 3 jobs, whatever I got to do to make sure that we're taken care of. So we're not appreciated. And then when we're not appreciated, we feel resentment. When we feel resentment because you don't appreciate me. As a matter of fact, you don't hardly cook. You don't clean. You don't talk about my needs. It's always about you. It's about how you feel. Not to mention, when you go to church, you give your pastor more attention than you give me. You give your exes more attention than you give me. You got more experiences that you had in your previous marriage than you give me. And I got to live with that. Oh, and by the way, there's some stepchildren here. And I can't really be a stepfather to your children because you're going to treat us like we're separatists, as if I'm some man that's going to love my biological children differently than I love your kids. And I got to take that. And I got to shut up about it. Because if I say something about it, now I'm a bitch. If I say something about that, now I'm weak and I'm in my feelings. So men don't know that how to live through that, because it's a real thing. And by the way, I got some child support and I'm a decent dude. And you put me on a state when I am here. You ain't got to call me for certain things. I will show up. I will give you the last drop, but you were so vindictive to put me on the state because that's what you was used to. Now I got to deal with that and not allow that resentment to make me hate you and to make me upset with you and to let my kids suffer. So I got to make sure I show up every day, got to keep my emotions in check. I got to listen to my Marvin Sapp. I got to listen to my Marvin Wines to make sure that I keep the sanctity of my mind so that this resentment does not bleed in the way I love my children. This is why men walk away, because we deal with stuff and we don't know how to navigate with it. And our women think that we are discardable until a crisis ensues and we start to realize how important the presence of a father actually is.
I'm trying not to go behind that.
All right.
Lord, let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Let's start at start. One of the reasons men walk away, and this is going to be anecdotal and nuanced. it begins with who we choose to pair bond with to begin with. Why do I say that? If you pair bond, if you pick the perfect woman, you know, are you guaranteed to last forever? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. I'm not even insinuating that. But I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. And shout out to the mother of my children. And you'll never hear me refer to her as a baby mama. That's an insult. If you ever around me and you talking about somebody's your baby mama, don't ever do that around me. That's an insult. Don't ever do that around me. That's the mother of your child. Okay, you chose her. However, same way we get in these spaces, we talk about. I feel you, Nathan. I'm telling you, man, I feel you. The same way we get in these spaces and we talk about how women need to vet and that, you know, they need fathers and that's why they're not vetting these men properly and so on and so forth. With the mother of my children, I was in Atlanta. We drove up here, brought her to Chicago. And you guys hear me talk about my grandmother a lot because she's very, very important to me. She took me in at a time where I needed to be taken in, and she essentially reared me through my formative years. And so when I brought her up here, my grandma was like, nope. And my grandma is the true, she is the matriarch of our family. She is like the oracle. You know, the woman, the grandmas that dream about fishes and go around asking which one of y'all is pregnant. That's my grandma. My grandma predicted every pregnancy in our family. She had dreams about, she still have dreams. And which one of y'all pregnant? What? Right? I brought the mother of my children before, and my grandma said, nope, it's not it. This was early on. This is before she was pregnant with man. Nope, that's not it. You know what I did? Grandma, you tripping. You don't want me to be happy. And in the back of my mind, that coochie good. I'm going to do what I want to do anyway.
Right. That part.
10 years. 10 years, man. 10 years. 10 years. And 10 years. And I got what I got, man. I walked away because I was forced out. And I take full accountability. I was not the leader that I needed to be in that situation. I was not prepared. I wasn't ready. I made some really dumb, immature mistakes. And in spite of that, I still don't think it would have worked out. And ultimately, I was alienated and forced out of that situation. So when you talk about why men leave, listen, I stayed in that marriage 9 years longer than what I should have because I wanted my kids to have a better experience. I wanted them, because that's what men typically, we suppress our feelings and we just go along to get along.
Right.
We'll endure whatever to try and make it work. And so that's why I'm really big on, you know, brothers being intentional and on purpose. That's why I love young bloods like Cheeky Banner, who's in these streets, being intentional.
Shout out to Cheeky.
Man.
Shout out to that whole crew over there. Cheeky and Sway. JB.
Oh my gosh.
Jonathan Barronville. Shout out to all the young brothers. Absolutely.
Yes. And I love the
Jedi mind trick. I mean, Jedi. What's
Jedi Mike?
Jedi Mike.
Yeah, I just got word. I don't know if he sent y'all the same thing, but he sent me. He's been doing some things. So
yes, he has.
He got some good news the other day, and I got word that he'll be back next weekend.
Cool.
You know, these are some good brothers, good young brothers, and these are the ones that I'm passing the baton to.
Absolutely.
I don't want to take your space, but I also want these young brothers to continue to be intentional. Shout out to Jonathan Barronville and Cam.
Shout out to Cam.
You know, people talk about it's just YouTube. It's not real. We saw Jonathan Barronville and Cam get together in real time.
Yep.
On YouTube. They were miles apart. Now they're together. But anyway, that's the point that I'm making in terms of, you know, being more intentional and on purpose with your selection. And I will be honest, you know, I've known my girl since high school. We were not romantically involved in high school, but when we reconnected, we had a lot of what I call getting out the ugly. We had a lot of ugly conversations first. What do I mean by that? Getting out the ugly is everything that would turn you off from me. Let's talk about it. So, you know, how many kids do you have? Right. Let's talk. I mean, we got down to it. Talked about it. I know last night we was talking about what's your credit score or something like that. We talked about all of it. Right. Got it out early. Right. And this is how we were able to build because we bonded. And one of the other things we did was, okay, well, you still out here being a slut monkey? You playing games? Nope. You done playing games? Nope.
Right.
Let's build.
And that's the piece. That's the piece that's missing. Having real dialogue, real conversations. When I date you guys, and I have conversations, I have real conversations, because it's about examining this person. You're choosing someone to build life and create life with. I don't know how we turn this thing into a game. It's not a game. It's not a joke. When you meet someone, and I saw, shout out to the members in the chat and, people who subscribe. I had someone mentioned about, why we're putting all the onus on women. You guys, this title is about Black men, Black fathers, and Black boys, right? This is about the struggle that men go through, why we go through it, and what's the nexus, how this whole thing flows around, right? We're not talking about, we're not talking about the sisters right now. We're talking about the brothers and what we go through. Sometimes, ladies, you got to give us space to speak on our issues, to talk about the things that are difficult for us. You're having a front seat right now of men who are being very transparent, very honest, and be an audience and be a witness. Be a witness. Sir Hale.
All right. I got something else to say. So I don't think a lot of times our women understand that when you're raised without a father, we take that template of how we love our mothers and we apply it to you.
Correct.
We give you chances you might not deserve.
Correct.
We stick around and suffer when we should not suffer because we learned our love template from our mothers. Yeah. And we'll never leave our mother. We'll never give up on our mother. We're going to always show up for our mother, say what she wants to say about us, not be there for us, neglect us, not give. Oh, let's translate this into our relationships. How many men are going home to a wife who doesn't tell them how much she loves them and appreciates him? How many men never get told how much I appreciate the work you do and your value to this family beyond what you bring monetarily? Because we get our love template from our mothers. And I think that a lot of men, until we get to a place where, first of all, we call this out and say, sir, you are worth much more than this. Loud and clearly, that you are worth more than this. If this woman cannot love you, and watch this, because maybe she didn't learn how to. Maybe she too didn't have a father, because the effects of fatherlessness doesn't just affect boys, it affects girls as well. So let's maybe say she didn't get it as well. If she's not even willing to learn this, you got to find somebody who will, and stop treating women who are not your mother like your mother. Let's deal with this as well. Too many of us have an unhealthy attachment to our mothers because we have been manipulated. We've accepted stuff. We've adjusted to manipulation. And because we've been cultured that way, we look for a woman who does the very same thing because we have not yet let go of that template and learned something different. So the blame is not on any particular gender. I'm raising this because if we're going to change this culture, we've got to get to the core of this stuff. Right. And a lot of these templates that we have, we got to go back to the root of this, address that, change that, teach our women how to love men. Because let me tell you something, men are generally loyal. You're going to have some bad guys out there who walks away, but generally good men will stick around. And if you learn how to live with them and appreciate them, there's nothing that a good man won't do when he's loved, he's appreciated. And if you're married, he's empty, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Stomach full, sack empty. It goes without saying. Sir Hale, you guys, this is why I put this panel together. All right. Let it sink in. The brothers dropped too many gems for us to pick up. You got to rewatch this. You got to rewatch it. Thank you guys. Let me shout out the chat again. Thank you guys so much for being very active. Had some struggle stream issues. I can't put the comments up on the screen, unfortunately. If you have any questions, please put them up. Highlight my name on them so I can bring it. The best way to highlight is always through a super chat, right? I'll never miss it. Let me give a special shout out to Diana. And she dropped the Cash App. She says $50. She said, here's for a tie to go with that suit. Diana, thank you so much. And I got your super chat. I got your Cash App the other day as well. Thank you so much. I'll definitely be reaching back to you. I got the message. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everybody who's been supporting in the chat. supporting these brothers. If you have moderators, continue to drop their link. Please drop Sir Hale's channel in the chat. Listen, this brother is amazing, as you guys see. Please follow him. We need to lift this brother up. All the men in the chat, please go and follow him. Please support. You see what he's bringing to the table. There's a reason why I brought him over here to have this discussion. It's very important. Lord have mercy. What you said earlier was worthy of a standing ovation. The passion, you guys, that stuff moves me because it's so real. And we don't have a platform. It's been so many years. I would say if not ever, we've never had a platform for men to just speak and to share without ignorance, without foolishness. Brothers getting together and just really talking real outside of the barbershop. I'm missing wisdom because I can't get my hair cut no more. So now I gotta jump on YouTube to get the barbershop.
No, you gotta get a straight razor and just go get your beard done up there. Make sure they put listen, man. I tell people this, and last time I said it, they looked at me like oofy goofy. Make sure they give you a hot towel. If they give you the eucalyptus mint leaf hot towel,
not the eucalyptus on it.
And listen, I started to understand why women go to the nail salon and stuff. I get it now.
It's therapeutic, man.
Listen,
it's therapeutic.
They give me that hot towel, I get sassy. Ow.
Not the snap. Not the snap. He said, meow. All right, listen. I'm at the once I get my soundboard, I said at 10,000. When I reach 10,000 subscribers, I'm getting a little soundboard. I'm definitely gonna clip that sound. Everybody gonna know it's meow.
Okay, let's do this then. What's the date? What's the date for you to hit 10,000?
Man, God willing. I'm praying that I hit 10,000. Let's say we in March.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna shoot it on my mom's birthday. May 9th.
All right, let's get it.
I want to hit 10,000 before my mom's birthday.
I'm gonna specifically push on my end to help get you to 10,000.
Yo, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. Listen, Sir Hales, where you at, Sir Hales, on your subscriber count?
Let me see.
You just hit Sir Hale, you guys. I want to give a special shout out again for Sir Hale. He had 1,000 celebration party not too long ago. I missed it. I was out running around trying to network. And but I heard it was amazing. I heard all the jokes being made on there. I said, golly, I want to do some impressions. What number you at, Sir Hale?
I am at 1,185.
All right. So you guys know the assignment on this channel. We support. I
appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, we support. Please go over there. Check out his content, you guys. He has amazing content, a lot of good stuff over there. Please go over there and subscribe. Let's get his numbers up. Doing it for me, you're doing it for us, you're doing it for Black men, right? We're doing it for Black men. This is positive Black male content. None of that rah foolishness over here, right? Positive content, things you can go over there, ask questions, get answers from an intelligent brother. All right. So again, let's do some of that housekeeping work. What else? Something I wanted to touch on real quick before we go over there. I want to shout out to Black Man Unfiltered. Listen, Black Man Unfiltered
in the building.
He's in the building too. Shout out to my man. Please drop his link in the chat as well. You guys, please go over there and check his channel out. I got a special video for him. We're talking about polygamy in the Black community. We'll talk about it because since we got a lot of brothers out here, impregnating multiple women anyways, we got to talk about our men that are that lack dick discipline, right? Let us phase into that. This is some stuff the sisters would like to hear. Let's bring some accountability back on the brothers real quick. The lack of dick. Sir Hale said, I ain't got nothing for it.
Ain't got nothing for us.
I ain't got nothing for it. Well, the Bible said, if you operate in Genesis, right? We got to spread the seed, ladies. We got to spread the seed. So, but the lack of dick discipline we're out here. Shout out to, again, Black Man Unfiltered. I got a special video for him. That brother's amazing. We want to support him as well. And all the crew over there. The crew is amazing, you guys. He allows me to go over there and spread my wings, you guys. I'm a phoenix, and it gives me an opportunity to learn, to grow, to debate. Never had to debate people before, so it's fun. I get a chance to be passionate. Someone got me in my emotions the other day. Ola, shout out to Ola. We're talking. Ola tried to call me out. He was playing Captain Save everybody over there, you know. But we ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna let y'all see the video when I drop it. All right. So shout out to Ola. So, anyways, dig discipline, right? We got some brothers out here who are, you know, we promised, we said we're gonna use Pookie and Ray Ray anymore. We have some gentlemen who don't discipline themselves sexually, but they're some of the top desired men in our communities. They come out here and they take their seed and they throw it all over the place. And the women are catching it like wide receivers. Make it make sense, right? We talk about using sex as a game like this is an Olympics, you know? We play around with this. It's very serious, right? We no longer look at sex as this ritual of love, companionship, and bond, covenant. We no longer look at it that way. And just because we don't look at it that way doesn't mean that it's changed, right? The value of sex and what it means is still true today. Just because we stopped addressing it that way doesn't mean that the value, the importance, and the sacredness of it has changed. And in fact, I would argue that we are the ones who have changed. We have separated ourselves from tradition. We've separated ourselves from the value and the meaning of it, right? Because we don't like structure and authority. And because of that, you guys, we try to justify our behaviors through our antics, right? We like to say, hey, I don't want to be traditional because it makes me feel like I'm in a prison. It makes me feel like you're trying to put me in a box, right? We talk about sexual freedom. I should be free to do what I want. You guys, yes, the freedoms are beautiful. It feels good, but they come with consequences. And we see the consequence and the impact reckless men have with their seed in our community. Now, one would say, if we want to be equal opportunists, we say the sisters are willing receivers, right, of reckless seed throwers in our community. This is true. This is why I blame both sides at the end of the day. But, you know, again, when we talk about it, let's talk about the dick discipline. Who wants to go in that?
I'll just let me just go really quick, Sir Hale. I'll be as short-winded as ChicagoRilla can. That's me speaking to me in third person. And let me do it this way. Let me use myself as a guide. You know, I was coming out of freshman year when I lost my virginity. I regret it to this day. I lost my virginity on a dare. I didn't like the girl. I didn't even know her. It was on a dare. You know what the dare was? Girl, I'll rock your world. I'll do this, and this to you. No, you won't. Yes, I will. So she called my card and she was right. I didn't rock anything. I tapped out in 3 strokes, right?
Facts.
I regret it to this day. Why? I can't get that back.
Yep.
That should have been for my woman. That should have been for my wife, man. That should have been for my wife. And the danger in that is that I imprinted on another young lady. I made a soul tie with somebody I care nothing about. Got to walk around with that. See, we wonder as dudes. I've said this before on the network. You know, we wonder why our women are acting the way that they are, why we're acting the way that we are. You've created these soul ties. You've exchanged energy with somebody, and you don't even know their last name. You don't even know their last name. And we have this culture where it's cool, right? Everybody hitting everybody now, right?
Right.
Like I said last night, I know one young lady, you know, you have a conversation with her and she'll be like, yeah, I hit that. And I'm like, you hit that? What do you mean you hit that? Yeah, I hit that. What do you mean? Like you pegged them? Like, or you got hit? No, I hit that. Like, no, we got it all bass backwards. And for the gentleman, I get it. I agree. I know there's enough blame to go around on both sides. But for me, I always bring it back to the gentleman. Why? Because as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Yes. Who are the leaders? You can't ask for the title and want the benefits and the rewards of being a leader and not accept everything that come with it. In my real life, real time, the people that I employ and hire and that I work with, I don't work for, but I work with, they'll tell you when everything, because I'm a leader where I'm at, They'll tell you when everything is going good, that's all praises. All that goes to them. When something goes wrong, that's my shoulders. It's all on me, right? And so I said I was going to be short-winded and I didn't. I'm sorry, Sir Hale. My point being is that, gentlemen, you don't know how important it is. And I know a lot of people talk about, well, it's hard to be a virgin. Listen, man, I'm just telling you, for me, hindsight is 2020. It's not even worth it, man. It's way more worth it to experience your first, and it's her first. And the joy in the journey is you guys imprinting on each other. Like, you don't have to experience 30 different women to know what it feels. Just imagine you a virgin, she a virgin, y'all get together and y'all learning about each other. That's the joy of the journey. Not me going out here knocking 150 females down and then I'm trying to reenact or emulate or what I saw on Pornhub. I'm trying to do that with my girl, or Pornhub with my girl, right? That's not where it's at, fam. And when you think about purpose, if you stay focused on purpose and you stay focused on legacy, it'll help center you and guide you through the process.
Yes.
I don't think it's as hard as people make it out to be. I really don't. But Sir Hale,
before you dive into that, I want to just piggyback on what Chicago just said, because I'm taking notes as you guys are talking. We have to make this popular, right? This has to be marketed in a way to where kids find it important, popular, and desirable. That is the key. What we have made right now in our community and our culture popular and desirable is to be what we see now. The dysfunction is what is uplifted, and it's confusing, right? Because it's given this image that this is what it's supposed, this is the new normal. We have allowed this new normal to take precedence in our community. And though it is causing problems, the children don't see it that way, right? You only know what you know. And you made me think of that, Rilla, when you said that, making sexual discipline, honoring a woman priority, respecting a woman, treating a woman well as priority, and vice versa. Valuing our bodies, right? Men protect your seeds, women guard your wombs. Like, these are priorities. And so we have to make this thing a pretty concept to digest. And I think that's where we're missing the mess. We don't have that message out. I remember as a kid, they would have, this is your brain on drugs, right? They were pushing that concept. It was a concerted effort to teach kids that this is not what you wanted. They show you a picture of a person, scratching and shaking. They're like, this is what you look like. We need the same type of promotional ads curing the disease that infects our community, because it's very cancerous. It's very malignant through generations. And I think without a concerted effort to push a better campaign, we're going to continue to have the same outcomes. So Hale.
Wait. I'm sorry. Just really quick.
Go ahead.
Let me just drop this nugget real quick.
Hold on. Rilla's like, pulling a Rilla. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, because to what you're saying, shout out to my man, Canton Jones, man. This brother got a song. I'm gonna send it to you, Nathan.
I know what you're talking about.
You're cute. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
You're not cute. Yep. Listen, man. If you listen to this song, you're thinking like it's about to be some bedroom bully. The whole song, he's talking about a young lady that's trying to seduce him, but he's like, his purpose. You're cute, but not cute enough for myself. I ain't going down this path with you. And not only that, I'm protecting you from you.
Yeah, the gospel rapper, right?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Canton Jones? Okay, yeah, send that to me.
Dope. Yeah, awesome.
Super dope song. I'm gonna send it to you right now.
All right. So mine's gonna take a little turn. So this is building on what ChicagoRilla said. Number one, me and my wife, we were virgins. So I am a proponent of this. I can't keep her off me, but she can keep me off her either. So here's the thing: we've got to educate this from children growing up. I think that because we don't teach the growing up, my mother said, son, all right. She said, don't you let the coochie control you. You save what you have for your wife. So my mother was a big influence on my sexuality. Parents, the nuggets you put into your kids is no guarantee what they're going to do, but at least plant the seed. That's the first thing. All right. Now let's take a turn. I think we've got to start promoting in marriage. Have sex often and a whole lot. Do it, give it to them, throw it on them, drop it like it's hot. Because a lot of times, a lot of men are out there trying to get as much as they can get, and women too, because we're taught that as soon as you get married, the sex is going to go down and it ain't going to be like it used to be. We need to also promote in sexual discipline that after you were married, here, let me give you some convenient times when you should be making love. If you breathing, if you coughed, if you raised your hand, if you can walk on your feet, if you ate some food, you came home from work. We need to really be promoting that when you are married, sex is special. Do it often. You guys bored with each other? Go get a wig, ma'am. You bored, change the scenery, sir. Hey, you want to have some exposure? Go drive in a car somewhere. Do it in the back seat. Find different ways to keep sex hot and spicy. Because what happens is we get married, we get boring, we get lazy. We don't put that sexual attention in there. We don't learn each other's bodies. Men don't learn how to use their mouths. She don't know how to use hers because she is so conservative. No, ma'am, you about to learn how to do what you got to do to take care of that brother. And fellas, you got to learn how to do what you got to do to take care of that sister. Y'all should both be asleep. Y'all should both be tired. Y'all should both be doing it so well that you get grapes and cheese and Gatorade on the side because you guys have worn each other out because you understand the power of that love making. We got to bring R&B back. We got to bring love songs back. We got to bring that back, that making love music. You got to be able to clap it up on demand because you understand that in the context of marriage, we about to get it in. All right, I'm done.
Hey, not only do we got to bring R&B back. Hold on, I got to do this at least once.
Oh, yeah, bring that Marvin Gaye in there. Listen.
We need not only R&B, we need to bring back ugly R&B. Remember when the R&B singers were ugly?
Come on, man. Ugly faces. Come on.
Girl, man, listen.
I love you. Hold on. Y'all not ready. Hey, what's your favorite old song real quick? We're gonna go ahead and drop it.
Man.
The house is not a home.
Anything
not ready
for me.
Hey, see, I'm 34, so my guy's Tank. That's my guy. Tank is my dude. That's my guy.
What's your favorite Tank song?
What's your favorite Tank song?
I can't make you love me, no.
Okay.
You can't make your heart feel something that it won't. Here in the dark, in these final hours, I will lay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to give us a concert, but that's just my guy right there. That's my guy right there.
I'm upset now, man.
Go ahead, Rilla. What you got for us, Rilla?
No, I ain't got nothing for you because this brother is super dope, highly intelligent, amazing brother all around, and he sing too.
Golly.
Quit, man.
Hey, right? I'm about to throw the towel in. This right here. This brother got the panty dropping vocals. He got the voice for that ass. Listen, he said, and he got the wisdom. Hold on. Sir Hale came up and said, listen, the bed can't be defiled, ladies. The bed can't be defiled. If he says do a backflip, hang from the ceiling, and swing off the rooftop with me attached to you, you need to be able to do it, okay? You need to be able to pull it off. Hey, the reality is you got to stay busy. You got to keep it spicy. What's my favorite Tank song? I'm a Tank fan. Y'all gonna make me bring the vocals out. Hold on, bring this up. Y'all ready in the chat?
Ladies and gentlemen, the real Nathan Daley.
Sex, love, and pain too. Nah, y'all not ready. Y'all not ready.
Hey, dope album though. Yes, sir.
Woo! Hey, I love.
Yeah, y'all showing y'all age. I know TJ is in the comments. Like I said, anything Stevie Wonder. As around the earth, the sun knows she's revolving. Okay. Like when
come on, man.
And I don't know, I forget the lyrics, but listen.
I'll be loving you always. Come on, man.
Man, listen. Anyway, go ahead. Let's keep going because I can't. I don't want to butcher nothing.
Nah, you know what's funny?
And you know what the crux of that song is? That's not a love song to a woman. Do you know the listen to that song? That's God singing to us. That's God the Father singing to his children.
Okay.
Go back and listen to it.
See, I'm gonna check that out because now I'm listening to songs.
Did you know that Music Soul Child Love that was a song about God?
Yes, yep. I heard about that not too long ago. I thought that was dope.
Yep.
I wish he would have kept it that way. It's supposed to be Lord.
Yep.
Right.
What's the name too?
So
Brandy. Brandy. He is. That was originally a song about God.
It lets you wonder too, the fear of them not pursuing that way, you know, feeling that they might not be successful if they speak about God, but God gave you that talent, right? Man, you know, he gave you that alley-oop and you didn't have the courage, right? You didn't have the courage to put his name in those lyrics where it was supposed to be. Very disappointing. When I heard about the music Soul Child, I played it back and I started replacing love with Lord. And I was like, man, hold on. This would have been a powerful.
And it would have hit just the same.
Would have been a hit just the same. You know, just the same. You know, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. So yeah, thank you for that moment, you guys. We needed that little release real quick.
No, I got beef with Sir Hale now, man. You can't be that dope, man. Like that's too much dopeness, man.
and you know, Sir Hale swole. Y'all see him on the picture. He swole. Not only he got all this put together, this brother a whole action figure. So listen, he like a whole G.I. Joe action figure. In them tight shirts he be wearing, but it's okay. You remind me of TLA. With TLA we had that meetup. TLA showed up. This brother about 7 foot tall. He about stocky. I said, damn, dude, I thought you was 60 years old. What's going on, brother? I said, I gotta step my game up. So, you know, listen, when we're talking about music, we're talking about men being emotionally sensitive, kind of knowing their emotional intelligence. Listen, it can go too far, though. It can go too far. And this brings up to the next segment, as you guys know. I want to talk on this, the feminization of men. Listen, we all know, you know, I like to sing to sisters. I sing, you know, I got a couple songs I like, you know, but the reality is, you know, women do like us to be more in tune, right? We got to be able to speak their language and stuff like that. And at the same time, we got to know when to cut it off. But there's a problem when people are trying to tell men to be more feminine, to be, right? Put on a dress, right? Put on some stockings. It's okay. You know, what is the issue with the feminization of men today? Let's dive into this. It's a brother right here. This brother's married. Now, I don't know, you know, what you got going on. Everybody's home is different. Lakeith Stanfield, stuns and lace stockings and high heels, replica, magazine photo shoot sends fans into a frenzy. Now we know this brother. He was on. He played Judas in the Black Panther little movie that they had.
Judas and the Messiah, I think.
Judas and the Messiah. He played a character in Get Out. You know, it's funny. He's playing. He's what?
He's married.
He's married.
Yeah, I didn't know he was married. Okay.
He's married. What we got to talk about this because this is an attack on men. This is an attack on men. The feminization of Black men, right? We scroll down, but here's the problem. Let me see. There were some comments left here by some sisters. Brianna Renee, she says, okay, but I love these photos of Lakeith Stanfield. Can't wait for the entire shoot, right? This brother got on heels, high heel clogs, what do they call them? Black men embracing femininity is so important. Lakeith Stanfield looks amazing, period, poo, right? You know how sisters love to add that poo at the end. The photo shoot Lakeith Stanfield just did is fire. I like men who dare to be different. Have y'all peeped the fire Lakeith Stanfield posted on IG today? The hair and the legs, the serve. Okay, we see you. Lakeith Stanfield came through with the looks, child. Definitely served. Fire, fire. Okay, snap, Replica Man magazine. Whatever the foolishness. Listen, our sisters are encouraging this, right? This is the brother right here. People in the chat, is this okay? Ladies, we got ladies in the chat. Is this okay? We're feminizing our men. This is what we're talking about marketing. We're marketing to our young boys who are looking at this, and you have women who are co-signing it. A lot of sisters may not realize, but a lot of the plights of men, Black men today, what we do is to do for women, right? We want to look good for women. We want to talk good. We want to be smooth. We want to have a nice car. We want to have a nice house. We do these things for women. We want a nice job, right? This is all part of a male's mating ritual. All species have it, right? A thing that they do, a behavior that they do, a way they look, the way they smell. That's why we put on this nice cologne. You guys, even me doing this stream, I put cologne on just to get in the character. I'm the only one who can smell myself. I bet Hale did it too, right? Yeah, it's all a part of the process. It's a male mating ritual. It's what we do to attract the opposite sex. Now, here we go with the poison, right? Here we go with the poison. What are your thoughts on this? Feminizing men and women co-signing it. These are our sisters now. What are your thoughts? Who want to dive in first? In Chicago, I know you got a time constraints.
Yeah. This honestly is going to be short because I don't understand it, right? I don't understand it. I come from an era, like you think about David Bowie, you think about what was that? Not Little Shop.
Prince, same way.
Prince, but there was there's an actor, Tim something, and it was an old school movie where they was singing like "Let's Do the Time Warp." That's the only song I remember from that little horror shop, Little House of Horror.
Oh, okay, yes.
That joint. And then I think about Dennis Rodman. Think about CeeLo Green. I don't understand it. And I don't, I understand it in the one context in terms of artists who do that for shock value. Like I kind of get that part. I don't agree with the messenger, but I get that part. What I don't understand is what are the sisters attempting to accomplish by encouraging that? Like, do you understand the damage that you're doing or what you're suggesting or insinuating or inflicting by encouraging that behavior from men? Because I understand this concept of, men and women, we both have masculine and feminine energy, but we function best when men are fully in their masculine and women are in their feminine. And you're balancing each other out. It's the yin and the yang. There's no way I'm supposed to exude more feminine energy than you. I don't see any type of scenario where it'll be dope for me to wear my girl tights or leggings or her heels. So, maybe y'all can help me out because it seems like it's becoming more and more prevalent and it's more and more widely accepted. Whereas in those times, it was like a one-off. Even with Prince, it was like, okay, that's just Prince.
Correct. Now,
maybe you can help me out because I feel truly lost when it comes to that. But I do know it's a real thing with the feminization of young men.
We would have to dive real spiritual into it. I know Sir Hale can piggyback. I'm a novice with the Bible. I know Sir Hale's is going to be a little bit more advanced with me on it, but I do understand the mission of the enemy. And again, when we talk about, we spoke about earlier about the crime. We talked about what happens when you tear families apart. This was a technique that was used in slavery. It was a concerted effort to keep men out of the core of the family. There's benefits to it when you want to control people. It's benefits when you want to control a group of people, a nation, and so the enemy is very well aware. The enemy knows us better than we know ourselves. Right? The enemy, the top enemy, was the closest one to the Father, right? And so at that time before he fell, and this gentleman knows us very, very well. And when you look at all of the attacks, and we talk about the attacks real quick, and then I'm gonna pass it to Sir Hale. We're talking about things that distract men away from their purpose, away from joining with family, coming together, the core, right? We talked about pornography. We talk about prostitution. We talked about how women are used to derail men off their purpose. We talk about seeking validation through material things. We talk about crime. We talk about all these distractions, right? We talk about the idea of changing the value of a man's genetics, right? We want to say this man is, we talk about toxic masculinity. What does that do to young boys as they grow up thinking that being who they are is toxic? You're changing the tides. You're changing everything. These men grow up. They grow up and they're not liked by the women who need them, right? Women say that these men are too soft. They're too delicate, but you purposely remove the men out of the home. You guys, it's a very, very, very strong strategy and it's working. right? It's working. Sir Hale.
I would try not to make this take a turn.
Go ahead.
There's a couple things. I think one, there is a war on masculinity. That's one. A man's direct image is a reflection of God himself. And if we go on a spiritual level, it is the enemy's systematic approach to remove the very representation of God in the earth. Ooh. And because it's easier to do that, and to because it's easier to operate with a sister than it is to learn how to deal with a man, a lot of our sisters are cool with men acting like them until it's time for sex or protection. Everything but in between that is debatable. And I think men have to see this. And men of old, now I can't say that men of old did everything right, but there was one thing that I respected about men of old. There were certain things that they wouldn't do. And I think that if there's one lesson we can take from generations of old, there has to be some things that we just don't do because men don't roll that way. I'll leave it at that, but that's the gist of what I want to say.
I would agree. I would agree with that. I had to get my little sign up. It's getting dark. I had to put my sign up. Shout out to my subscriber sent this for me. It was a birthday gift. Nice little highlight in the back. Add some little flair to the studio.
That's good.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you. This is a problem. It is a problem, and it is easier to attack. Right when we look at from the origins of it all, the snake went after Eve. The snake went after Eve for a reason. Women, we have to protect our women. As men, we have to. And I think one of the biggest problems, we hear women make a lot of complaints about men of today. And then there's always that saying that, hey, a woman raised them, so it's kind of like that interesting dynamic. At the end of the day, we're all in this together, you guys. We're all in this together. I want to kind of go towards the end of this thing. And I know we've touched on a lot of great things. I really appreciate everyone's comments in the chats, everyone's supports. I want to ask something. At the end of the day, a lot of people are always going to ask the solutions. How do we bring men back to the table? How do we get men back to, Sir Hale, you gave a flawless performance of why we leave or why we don't want to stay, the frustrations. I challenge everyone to contemplate something. How do we get men back? How do we incentivize men in a sense? We're getting a bad deal at the end of the day. And men know this. I know this. It's very hard to look at marriage, take marriage seriously, because it's very hard to find a partner who you're willing to give your all to without fear, without worry. What is the reality? I said this on Black Man Unfiltered. The idea, the dynamic in my mind is that we are a team. Men and women are a team. That's our purpose. It's our duty to each other to build, to grow, to establish this legacy. I look at a woman's job as so important. A woman being submissive, right? The idea of a woman, she's to live for her family. She's to live for her children, live for her husband, supporting him. And in turn, what is the man's job? His job is to honor his family, honor his wife. This man must be willing to die for his family, right? This is the calling of men, being a protector, being a leader. If you live for me, I in turn have to be willing to die for you. We need to get back to the place where men are with women they're willing to die for. If you're with this woman and you say to yourself that if all goes wrong, I have to stand in front of a knife, stand in front of a bullet. Are you a woman worthy of that sacrifice? And if you are not, then you need to remove her out of your life. These are things as men we can do to start correcting the behavior. As a woman, can you live for me? As a man, am I willing to die for you? What are the solutions? What are the solutions, you guys? How do we bring men back to the table?
I would say let's promote the men who are.
Sir Hale, you went out.
Hold on, Sir Hale, your audio.
Struggle streaming. You just went out.
He struggle streaming.
Nope. You muted on your end.
That ain't nothing but the enemy, boy.
What about now?
There we go. That's right. The devil's a lie. Not on my stream. Go ahead, Sir Hale.
So there's a couple things. One, a man should never have to wonder if the kid is his. Faithfulness. The second thing, a man should never feel undervalued. Say thank you. The third thing, a man should never feel lonely. Be his friend. When we start giving men what they need and not making them earn it, like we're paying a trick, like we getting somebody off the streets and we gotta give you money to give us what we need. No, if a man's job is to die for you, make his life worth it. Do what you got to do and invest in him. See what he wants. Sometimes that's going to mean you not staying at church so long. Sometimes it's going to mean you not being on Facebook. Sometimes it's going to mean you taking him out, understanding him. Incentivize a man, because when you give a man what he wants, he will make your life much more worth it. So ask him questions. Get away from single women who they have a list of all the requirements about what a man should be. Well, he got to have this. He got to be this. He got to look like this. Hang around some people who teach you to see the intrinsic value in a man. Change your mindset about who he is. And make it when a man commits his life to you. Ladies, I want y'all to hear this. When a man says, I do to you, real men, we take that seriously. When you saying I do, y'all are thinking about the cake and the wedding and the reception. We're thinking about life at the same moment y'all are thinking about the cake. Make his life worth it. Raise his kids. Treat him with a sense of honor and respect. This is how you make marriage worth it. It's really not that difficult. Listen to your man and give him what he wants. That's it.
Facts. Chicago, before you go, shout out to Braves Club. Hey, brother, I got a little struggle wires in the back on my sign. I'm gonna get it together. Y'all. I promise.
Oh, he wants you to wear it.
I just got the sign. I want to give a special shout out to. Want to drop the people dropping the super chat in there. Thank you so much. Who's this? Ralph Washington. He said thanks for reaching out early. We are with you. Thank you so much, Ralph. I really appreciate that super chat. Also, thank you, Ashonda Hill. Thank you so much for that super sticker as well. I really appreciate you guys, and I have a Cash App as well that came through when you guys are dropping gems. Shout out to Dorian. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate that. And shout out to Natalia Barnett. She said salute. Thank you so much, and salute to the panel. You guys are doing an amazing job. Chicago, I'm going to let you go ahead and add to that. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the funny thing is we've been talking solutions all night, and I like to keep stuff super simple. I'm not the most articulate brother, and I don't claim to be, don't want to be per se. Because I like to, the people that I speak to, I need them to, like, I don't want it to go over their head. So what are some of the things we've been saying all night? Ladies, be the type of woman, like we just heard Nathan talk about, a lot of the things that men do, a lot of the ways that we dress, we smell, the watches we buy, the car, like we do that for y'all. Dudes that say they don't do that for the attention of a woman, they playing. A lot of dudes need to keep it a bean, get off of social media, stop talking all this rhetoric stuff, keep it a bean. In your real life, you go out, you're trying to look good for a woman. And so with that said, ladies, be the type of woman that man would run through a brick wall for. Stop trying to compete with that man. If I could say it how I really want to say it, stop trying to measure dicks with him. Your dick not big as his, ma'am. It's not. The woman, and this is why you hear these conversations around masculine and feminine, because I'm gonna tell you something, just with the observable eye, the woman that's super feminine, dainty, demure, every dude is rushing to protect her. Every dude rushing to open the door. It's not that she's flirting and she's, sashaying and chanting and all that other stuff. That's a flower, that's a petal, that's a rose. She needs to be protected. That's what brothers do. So be that type of woman that a dude will run through the door for. Now, gentlemen, brothers, Malcolm Gladwell talks about the tipping point and what we need in terms of 10%. So for the work that I do here in Chicago, I don't look to convert everybody. I know I can't get everybody. We just need 10%. So for the brothers, start making this shit look cool, man.
Yep.
Stop talking about my old lady, that old battle axe, the ball and chain. That's not marriage. That's not relationship. Who wants to be involved in that, man? You know what I told my girl? I'm so nasty and mannish with my girl, man. Oh, let me tell y'all this too. I'm not sure she ain't around because she ain't gonna want to hear this. Married sex is amazing.
There you go.
Covenant sex, amazing. Start making this shit look cool, man. It's cool to treat your wife like that's your girlfriend. It's cool. Chase her around the house, grab her butt, do it in front of your kids. You know what I'm saying? Make it look cool. Stop, the thing of it is, people have such a negative stereotype attached to covenant, right? Because they see covenants that don't last, and they think it's impossible to sustain a lifelong relationship. And listen, man, I'm such a huge advocate for the nuclear family, the Black family in particular. I make this shit look cool, man. Y'all have seen me in real time talk about being in a long-term relationship with my girl, to actually just doing the damn thing. Like we talked. I'm gonna tell y'all how this came about, and I'll pipe down. The way that we finally, because I was on this whole, wait, I got this together, that together, this got to be paid off, and I don't want to bring her into this situation. I'm dealing with this deal. And we was talking one day, because I already talked to her father. Oh, gentlemen, also learn that. They'll just go doing stuff and taking people's daughters without telling them first. So I had to talk to her father, and he had gave me the blessing. And this was like a minute ago. And we were talking last year. We was talking like late last year. And she said, you know what? We could have been did this. We could have went like to a courthouse and got it done. And I was like, for real? I said, I thought you wanted to do it. She said, no, that's what you thought I wanted to do. Right? I don't need all that. Let's just go get it done. So you know what we did? We picked the date, went to the courthouse, got it done. And you did.
Facts. Congratulations to you, Chicago, as well, because I remember hearing about that down the grapevine. So shout out to you. It's a blessing, you guys. We do need to make it popular. So Harold, what do you want to say real quick? Listen, also moderators, please drop the link for those who want to come up and ask a couple questions. I know Chicago has to bounce soon. I can't keep Sir Hale all day either. But if anybody wants to come up and ask some quick questions, please. It was more important that we went through this content. I didn't want to hold up these gentlemen because it was so much more important that we had the conversation. But if you need to come up, want to come up and add a couple things to it, please do. Before we get into that, I also want to give a special shout out to Pretty Ugly Truth. She is the sponsor of that banner that you see back there, and also that's her super chat she dropped. I really hate I couldn't pull the information up on the screen, you guys, but everything happens for a reason. Maybe the screen was meant to be clean tonight, but the gems being dropped, it needs no distractions, And so, again, we're going to work with it. And this is such a beautiful conversation. So, Hale, what do you want to say? Anybody want to come up? Ladies, if you have any questions, I saw a couple ladies in the chat. It's a little bit of confidence back there in that chat. Listen, these brothers don't bite. Please come up and express your thoughts. You heard some men talk. This is how men talk, right? This is how men talk. You might be unfamiliar with it, but this is real. This is how we talk when you guys aren't around, right? We're sharing. We're opening up the barbershop for you to have and having this conversation so you could be a witness. So if you have any thoughts and you want to come up, please do it now. Get your questions lined up. So Harold, what do you got for us, brother?
First of all, shout out to my brother Rilla into marriage. That is dope. Awesome for you, sir.
Yes.
I'm sending a shout out to my wife as well. Listen, y'all, I'm not even joking at this. Now, I hope I don't get banned for this. Man, you would think that, the love making and the fun would decrease. Man, we have some of the most, man, it don't even make no sense.
Yeah, got me jealous.
I'm just like it for no reason. For no reason. And we're blessed. She works, with me. We work close to each other all the time, and we be having fun. We have fun. I like my girl. You know what I'm saying? I like my girl, and I just want to send a shout out to her because, you know, she didn't have what she needed as well, but we grew together. You know what I mean? Like I started out, I married her at 19 and she was 21, and we didn't have our stuff together. But man, in these 30s, man, let me go comment out. What, baby girl, where you at?
That's what's up. Hey, bring her up. Hey, shout out to all the wives. Shout out to all the wives who are holding these amazing two men down. Absolutely. Shout out to Black Man Unfiltered. He dropped the super chat. Black Man Unfiltered says, my family has cooked this meal perfectly tonight. Yes, we are Black Man Unfiltered's extended family. Absolutely. Sorry I couldn't make it. My network is streaming right now. Don't worry. After I get off mine, I'm hopping right over there, brother. Listen, you guys, after parties at Black Man Unfiltered's channel. If the moderators could please drop Black Man Unfiltered's channel in the chat. That's where the after party's at. You're gonna see how this brother gets down. So you know, we're gonna end this thing off strong though. I have my boy in the back. Chicago, you got a minute for a question or two?
Yeah, I'll stay up.
All right, Dre, I'm about to bring you up. Ladies, if you want to come up and ask a question, listen, y'all be talking real strong in the chat. And as soon as some brothers put some stuff together, y'all be hiding. It's all good though. It's all good. Dre, sorry to hold you, brother. I'm sorry. You already know what it is.
Business before pleasure.
Yo. Hey, you guys, this is my main man right here. And I tell you about when I go to get iron sharpened, that's the sharpener. All right, that's the sharpener. Dre, what you got for us? I know this is a heavy topic. We was dropping mad gems.
Man, look, I told Sir Hale, I said, we can't be on a panel together. They're not ready. They are not ready. Because he definitely dropped some gems. I'm telling you. Look, when I spoke about value, let me tell you what value looks like. Is when it clicks, when you realize, what am I doing to myself? You know, who cares how many women you get with? Who cares? When you start realizing your value and realizing what you can contribute. You know, I was married for 11 years. I told my wife, I was like, look, you know how I know I was married? Pussy wasn't enough. I needed more. I needed more. I needed to be valued, and I need to value you. You know, I need us to grow together. And that's the thing. What men have to realize and men have to understand is marriage is more than just you put a ring on a finger, you sign a paper, and you live together. It's a little bit more than that. It's a union. It's a union of love. First of all, I love love. Love is great. But you gotta like. Before I told my girl I loved her, I said, I like you. I'm falling in like with you. Because there are going to be times in a marriage when you ain't going, that love dissipates, but you like being around them. You enjoy the conversation and you stimulate. When my relationship with my wife started going down, one thing that never died was our conversation and our transparency and our communication. Because at the end of the day, when you produce children, you still have to have a united front. And when you make that concerted decision to separate, you got to think about your children. You can't have a selfish mentality. This is what I want and this is what I want to do, because you have little ones that are watching you and emulating what you do. So you have to be cognizant of every decision you make, and it has to be calculated. Know your value. If you're dealing with a dude that you know damn well won't be welcome at your parents' dinner table, don't mess with him.
Facts.
Women, if he can't tell you his real name, his government, and give you his date of birth, don't mess with him, because it makes no sense that you're complaining about all men are dogs are bad, but yet you never took the initiative to know his first name, last name, date of birth, what his mama name is, because now you have to go on social media to find out who this dude is.
After
Take some responsibility. Right. Fellas, come on now. I remember growing up, the term is the best P is new P. No, that's not correct. The best P is dedicated P. Ooh. The one that has your back, the one that will sit down there, and when you're down, be there for you and be that strength and that backbone. That's the best P. You understand what I'm saying? So once you start valuing,
submissive P.
Yes. But like this, I used to always say, listen, I want to stroke your thoughts before I stroke your hips, because that is stimulating to me. You understand what I'm saying? That is the greatest turn on, is when you sit up there and stimulate. You make me think beyond my capacity, that I think my lid is here, but you got me thinking up here. You have me running through brick walls for you. That's value. That is what you have to bring to the table. Forget about, I wear a size 4, or this. Your education don't mean anything to me if you don't bring value to my life. I don't care how much I get paid. If I don't encourage you and support you in everything you do and be emotionally available to you, it doesn't matter how much money I make and that I'm a fighter, man, because I'm not doing anything. I'm a robot. We have to come together and understand each other. Know what I want. Know what I need. Know what I need you to do for me, because I'm going to take the initiative to find out what I need to do for you. We're all damaged. We're damaged folks. We have trauma, and we have to understand that. And if I accept you with all your issues, accept me with all mine. It's simple as that. And you know what I'm saying? In ChicagoRilla, like I told you, I'm a fan, and you guys been dropping gems all night, and I had no problem waiting patiently to sit down and, you know what I'm saying, and join in. And Sir Hale, you ever need me on a panel on your page, holla at me. Yo, we'll get you some subs, big dog.
Yo, Dre, appreciate you, brother.
No doubt. You have a good evening, man.
All right. Everybody know when Dre come up, everybody takes their notepad out. They know they got to get ready. That's we went to the academy together. Sharp brother. He's always supporting. Golly, you guys, if you didn't catch the stream yesterday, we had all officers on the panel, and we just talked about real police stuff, and it was good, powerful stream. Woo! Listen, you guys, this is needed. You know, there's definitely going to be a part 2 to this. We'll do it on someone else's channel, right? But I want to have the conversation, get it started. I want to be an example, right? I know my lane is in law enforcement, and it's to my people, it's to the Black people, Black empowerment. So I love having talks about empowering us as a community. I've seen a lot. I've experienced a lot in these 13 years in this profession. I know where the problems are, and I have a good idea on how to solve it. And I think, you know, I've been blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be alive. And I feel like God gave me a second run at this thing. And I'm tackling these problems from a different perspective, a different position now, you know, from on the streets to now behind the streets. But nonetheless, the influence is still just as powerful. And so to have this platform and to have this discussion, I want this to be a testament and also an example that others can also look at and say, this is how we pull our resources together. This is how we pull our minds together. This is how we pull our influence together and talk about things that we need correcting in, things that we fall short in, and things that we excel in. You know, Sir Hale Speaks, the last time we had a real good conversation. You said, how about we start talking about all the great things, right? And stop focusing on all the bad things. And that moved me, sir. I want to just say that to you. It moved me in a very, very strong way. And I kept that last thing you said with me to this very moment. And I just wanted you to know that your word has power, your word has influence, and it's touching people, whether you see it or you don't see it. This moment right now is an example of that, right? Because I never forgot those words. So you guys, I say this and I echo this every time we speak as men, know that someone is listening. Whether you're speaking positive or negative, there's death and life in the tongue, as we know, right? So before we go, you guys, I want to give you guys your last words. Chicago, I'll start with you, brother. And then what are your final thoughts for the panel? I'll give you the screen.
Yeah, first of all, obviously, thank you for this opportunity again. I'm very selective about where I lend my voice and where I show up. I don't do many panels. I do, I just don't do this much. But you're doing God's work over here. And so in closing for me, I just really want these young governors to know, man, when we say you are the future, this is your time, like we really, really mean that. Like I know the world looks like and it is your oyster, but it looks like, it looks funny and funky now, but it really is your oyster. You can make your way in the figure 8. Wherever you go, the earth is your turf. Wherever you set your foot, you walk as a king. You walk in dominion, power, and authority. That's already in you. The objective is to bring that out of you. So what's internalized, what's in you manifests outside of you. And you make mark on people that can never be erased, man. So, shout out to all the young bloods that are, on their square, on their purpose, on their functions, intentionally. not out here damaging and interrupting these young women, that are preserving and protecting these young women. Brother Nathan, shout out to you. Sir Hale, shout out to you, man. Shout out to Talk Hale in the comments, man. Shout out to her. And man, just thank you for this opportunity, man. And if you need me to come back, whenever you need me to come back, bro, I am here. We're going to work to get you to 10,000 by May 9th. And thank you, bro. Thank you.
I appreciate that. ChicagoRilla, I appreciate that. And, you know, vice versa. If you ever need me to speak, you need my advice, anything I can do, don't ever hesitate to reach out. And yeah, we're going to do, we have something that we got to do in reference to reaching out to the youth, some youth engagement from the law enforcement perspective to the Black community as well. And so we'll talk more about that, and then we'll set it up. All right. ChicagoRilla, I appreciate you, brother. All right. Woo. All right, brother. You got the floor. Listen, take it easy on him, Sir Hale. And, you know, take it easy on him, brother. Now, matter of fact, don't. Give the people what they need to hear.
First of all, shout out to the awesome Real Nathan Daly. Fantastic platform. Thanks for having us here. To my brother ChicagoRilla, to all those in the chat, I want to leave us with a couple of things. We have an opportunity now to change the landscape of the future. If we take this now and we start making family and marriage a priority, we get the ability to not only read history, but for our kids to read and talk about the sacrifices we made to make life better. So my appeal to us tonight is that we got to take the microphone and we got to take the camera. What do I mean by that? Our voices need to be heard. People who are married, people who champion the family, people who are championing healthy children. It is time for us to take the microphone and the camera so that we can be seen and so that we can be heard. And that this negative marketization of how toxic we are and how bad and broken we are, that we change this narrative not only for our own sanity, but for the mental welfare of our children and families coming before them. So wives, love on that man. Husbands, love on that woman. Families, love on your kids. Communities, love on each other, so that we create the type of culture and community that not only we are proud of today, but that our kids are proud of and appreciate for generations to come. Thank you for your time. So glad to be here. I appreciate y'all. Thanks so much.
Yes, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. So Hale Speaks, it is an honor. It's an honor and pleasure, brother. And we're going to have a round two. If anything you need, you know to reach out. You know how to get me.
Same here, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Woo. Woo. Glad I had that tie on. Got a little intense, you guys. Listen, shout out to my guests today. I had a feeling these were the perfect two gentlemen to bring up and have this conversation with. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for just sticking with us. This is a tough conversation. We covered a lot. I myself have to run it back. Shout out to Dre, of course. You guys know. It's my partner in crime. Shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for the donations. It means so much, you guys. Again, it's very motivating. It's very inspiring. And it shows me that you see value in what I'm doing. You see value in the mission. You guys, the next thing I ask you and I challenge you to do is to share this video. This video, if no other video on this platform, this one is very important. This one's very important. Please share it with those that you know. We talk about us sticking together and doing things for one another. This is a part of it. People say, come in here, hit the like button, right? Just hit the like button. You know, it's an example, it's a way, it's a behavior, an outward expression that shows that you appreciate what's going on. The like button costs you nothing. Sharing costs you nothing, but it influences everything. Sharing this video could change a life, right? Sharing other content creators that you see value in, sharing their content could actually impact someone's life in a positive way. Unfortunately, we had some hiccups in the stream, so I couldn't get to all the comments like I normally do, but I think that was done by design so that I was focused and lasered in on the conversation so I didn't miss a beat. We're always, you guys, I have a saying after my accident and my recovery. I say it's all about triumph over tragedy. You guys, you might not notice a shirt that I wear when I'm doing my videos, but all these designs I created myself. You know, I told myself when I hit 10,000, I'm going to start sharing more of the designs, more of the merchandise and things like that. That's connected to my nonprofit, you guys. But the whole idea is triumph over tragedy. And it's something that I put together, something that I speak over myself all the time. It is a big part of my recovery. And it's another reason why I call my nonprofit the Blue Phoenix Initiative. It's the reason why you see the Phoenix up there in the corner. I was blessed with a second opportunity, you guys. And that's just the truth. And Chicago's right. I thought about running off into the wilderness. I really did. But then I got called. Something said to me that there are people behind there who need your help. There are still people who need to hear your voice. And here we are. Here we are. So, you guys, a lot was said. There was a lot that we covered. We talked about the value of Black men, as we all know to be true. We know that there's an attack against men, against masculinity. We know the impacts of fathers are not present in these homes, what it does to our children, the boys and girls, what happens. Fatherless homes, you remove the structure, you remove the foundation, you remove discipline, which is another form of love, you guys. Discipline is another form of love that men provide their families. Structure. We talked about what happens when these fathers are present, the increased rates of depression amongst kids, suicide amongst children, right? Sexual deviance amongst children. Listen, behavioral problems, crime. We talk about when families are doing this thing alone, they're raising families by themselves, right? We talk about the risk of poverty. We talk about the correlation of poverty and crime. This is a very real thing in our community. If we want to start having these better outcomes, people say, why do I talk about this? And here I am, the law enforcement translator, you guys, because this is all connected. These are all things that are connected to one another. You repair poverty, you fix the law enforcement problem, right? You take care of the poverty issue, you take care of the police problem, right? We raise our young men and young women to put this uniform on. We are then looking at reflections of ourselves. You guys, it has an impact. It has a powerful impact. Black Man Unfiltered, I'm gonna bring you up right now, brother. This is the gentleman I've been talking so much about, you guys. I'm gonna bring him up. This is an amazing brother, you guys. Black Man Unfiltered.
What's up, my guy? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Thank you for dropping by. I just kicked Sir Hale Speaks out. He was embarrassing me over here. He was
hey, you know we call Sir Hale Speaks. You know we call him Silk Chocolate. So you know he gonna come in and smooth you out. Sir Hale Speaks. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to that guy, man. He's amazing, bro.
Phenomenal, man. Oh my God, brother brought tears to my eyes, man. It's a powerful, powerful message. You know, him and ChicagoRilla were dropping.
I was watching it, brother, and because you know on my network tonight I have Mandrell's doing his show. So so I've been watching everybody's. I mean, if you let me take you on a tour real quick before we talk.
Yeah,
see, look, I'm supporting everybody.
Oh dang. Yo, you got a wicked setup, bro.
Yeah, I'm supporting everybody, man. I want to give love to everybody, bro. Everybody, man. So, but I'm here, man. I'm a man of my word. I knew I was gonna make it, man. I was like, let me get in here.
Go ahead. Let me. You know, the topic we're just talking about. We're just talking about the beauty of Black fathers. And you know, I mean, we touched on so many things. How fathers are discouraged. Black men are discouraged from marriage. Discouraged of fatherhood, you know, what pulls them away, the distractions. We talked about how the kids without the fathers, they come out depressed, sometimes broken. And you know, I asked them about some solutions. How do we get more men back into this space of wanting to tackle the obstacle of marriage, you know? And just overall, just honoring Black men and just seeing how it's difficult. You know, it's difficult, especially in modern time. You know, you're a father as well. And I've heard you. It's so funny. Last time we talked about the incident with your daughter, you was pistol carrying. He was ready to lick
Oh,
off
yeah.
shots, you know. And I made a statement, and I said, you know, and Black Men Unfiltered is so funny. I said it on your channel. You know, we're talking about polygamy and things like that, and I said, you know, the importance of a man has to be willing to die for his family. And there was a lady on the platform who was like, she was lost, she didn't understand that, but all the men understood that, right? All the men understood that when we take up this mantle of a husband, we are preparing ourselves for the unknown. We have to be willing to lay our lives down to protect our family. That is our duty to our family. In return, our wives are there to submit in a way to where they're giving their lives for us, right? They're serving, they're uplifting, they're appreciating, they're encouraging, right? And they're living themselves. They're living through the happiness of us in a sense, and the family in itself. And so the sacrifice that both sides commit to for the betterment of the family. What are your thoughts just in general, just being a father, and just the fear of not having fathers and the impact overall?
Yeah, I my perspective is being a father, man, it's to the guys out there that are struggling with it in-house, struggling with it outside the house, being separated from your children, the men that are struggling with women that don't allow it, don't allow you to be a part of your child's life. My advice would be for the men inside the house would be, just, man, listen, get you a circle of guys, man, get you a Sir Hale, get you a ChicagoRilla, you know, get you a Black Men Unfiltered, you know, my email, blackmenunfiltered@gmail.com. You don't have to go through it by yourself. You don't have to struggle by yourself. And we all have made these mistakes as parents. We've done some things we shouldn't have done, some things we, you know, so as moving along, I think that men should just have a huge support system. I think the support system is the major thing in being a father for the fathers that are in the home, that are in the nuclear family, that are trying to raise sons and guide daughters. And so I think that, you know, that's important for the men that can't see their children because the woman won't allow it. Man, listen, you know, we got to find some type of programs, man. We got to find something. We got to create something with some type of financial backing to financially help these men that can't afford to be in court for 3 years, slinging money around trying to get their children.
Facts.
So we got to find a way to help these brothers get custody of their babies, because it's amazing to me that when you go to court, they'll ask you to pay $700, but they won't ask you how many times you're going to visit your child.
Ooh.
And so that's amazing to me. That means they care nothing about the child, but they only care about the money. And why? Because everybody is being incentivized. The baby mama is being incentivized, right? ChicagoRilla gonna kill me. He hates that phrase.
He did say that too.
Yeah. The mother of your children will be incentivized. The state will be incentivized. Yes. And think about it. If the state wasn't incentivized, then do you think they'd be pushing child support so hard? No, they wouldn't. In your lovely state, over $2 billion worth of child support fees were collected last year. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yes, sir. In the state of Georgia, $2.3 billion to be exact.
Wow. I'm about to look into that.
Yeah, child support fees. The state is raking it in, right? Can you imagine getting $700 as a female? You go to court and the judge says $700 a month for your children, and you're only getting $400, and the state's getting $300.
Let me ask you this, Black Man Unfiltered. This is how we're gonna have a power conversation real quick.
Yeah.
We have an issue with the Democrats, Republicans, politicians, blah, 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 blah. You know, over the majority of Black people vote Democrat for whatever reason. Everybody has their own thing. I'm more of an independent anyways.
Right.
But let's look at the idea of Black men getting together. This is an issue.
Yep.
$2.3 billion collected in child support are by the hands of men. What would it look like if the men got together and say, hey, new governor.
Yeah.
Right. I have 4 million votes right here. Right. Let's just say, I don't know how many Black brothers are here in Georgia, but let's just say, hey, I got 1 million Black votes right here of Black men who are saying, if you adjust this court system problem in Georgia, you got it. Or give it to the Democrats, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, this is how voting works, you guys. And this is for the men. This conversation right here is for the men. And we pool our resources. You know, and when I think about the manosphere, I was on TLA's channel a couple of days ago. He talked about, is this the end of the manosphere?
Right. Yeah, I was watching you, bro. I was supporting you.
So one of the things that I always think about is I'm a very structured person. I'm a very solution-based person.
Mm-hmm.
I like to complain so I can give my solution, right? I like to argue so I can present my solution. What I've noticed here in YouTube and just in different platforms, people like to complain and then they want to go away. They want to complain and they want to go away. What would it look like if the manosphere got together collectively, pulled men's resources together, pulled their votes together and said, hey, listen, guys, this is a concerted effort, right? Because this is one of the reasons why men are kind of shying away from marriage as well. They don't feel like it's fair. It's equitable, right? The laws haven't changed. $6 billion is bananas. And, you know, men, we have to ask, what are men doing to make this change? Right? What are men doing to really make this change? Because it is impacting families. It is impacting because you're right. You're incentivizing it.
Right. And I want to say this real quick because you talked about dick discipline.
Yes.
You know, let me look in the camera for a second. Dick discipline, guys. You got to have dick discipline because your dick is a corporation.
Woo.
And if your dick is a corporation, the only way to make that corporation go belly up is to invest in the wrong company. Let me say that again. Your dick is a corporation that's doing very well by itself. But the only way to have an end run moment, the only way to go belly up and to lose everything is to invest that into the wrong company. Don't be a bad investor.
Listen, what my father say? My father said, marriage and relationship is like a business. Only 1 out of 10 are successful. Meaning that you better be very mindful what you decide to invest in. Listen, black men, that's a gem right there all to itself. You know, this relationship thing, looking for a partner is like this, you guys. How well do you know yourself? How well do you know yourself? Imagine this. It's like shopping for clothes. Ladies, this is a perfect example for you. When you go to the store, are you the one that has to try clothes on? Or are you the one that picks right off the rack and then you leave the store? There's a difference. There's a difference between a person who knows their size, who knows what looks good on them, who knows what fits just right, who knows what this outfit expresses on the outside and on the inside. How does it make you feel? There's a difference when a person, this applies to men too, when you can go right in the store and pick exactly what you're looking for because you know it's exactly what you need. You guys, the way we pick our partners is so vital. It is in itself, like Black Man Unfiltered said, he said, this is like, it's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business, you guys. It's a business. And some of us are making horrible business
decisions. Yeah, exactly.
Horrible. And then y'all having these y'all make these bad business decisions, and all these little sister companies are coming out of it, and the sister companies are just as horrible.
Yep.
Right? 2 clowns getting together, building circuses, you guys. That's the problem. Yep. That is the problem.
And the other side of it is the family, the nuclear family, or the family being broken up. We have to be real about where that started. We have to be real to understand that our black men were pimped into doing it, and they were told, listen, you know, can you imagine a white woman or white man sitting down with your woman and saying, hey, I know Aaron at work, but let me tell you a little something. We want to help you and your children. We have something we call food stamps. We want to give you $400 a month, tax-free food stamps to you and your children. We also want to give you housing. You can't afford to live here, so we'll pay your rent. We'll pay your mortgage. We'll give you somewhere nice to stay. Listen, we'll also give you child support from the father, but only one condition: you got to get that black son of a bitch out of the house.
Yes.
And once we get that man out of the house, we will provide you with everything you need. And we're not even going to stop there. Once we get him out of the house, if he comes back to the house, we want you to help us invest into our private prison system. So if he comes back, we want you to call the police and have the police come over on a domestic violence charge and get him locked up and put him in the jail. And then once we get him in the system, ma'am, just understand that nigga belongs to us. And we're going to take him. We're going to make him work for free, 3 cents on a dollar a day. We're going to get free labor out of him. And when he gets out of jail, we're going to put him on child support again. And when he does not pay it, we're going to recycle him and put him right back in the same system over and over again until we can get him for something major and get him in here 10 plus years. And our private prison system will flourish. So with your help, Black woman, we need you to help us destroy this black man. Can we count on you? And look at our black men. Over 50% of the prison population, Black. Out of those men, 52% of those men are fathers.
You know, you guys, let that sink in. Let it sink in. We're talking about the power and the influence other people have over our own community.
Exactly.
How do we break this cycle? You know, this is a business. I tell people all the time, people say, look, it's about race. I say it's about money. It's money before the race.
Yeah.
We're just the ones that are easy targets. We're easy targets. You know, you guys, we got to stop feeding ourselves into the system. The system. This is why, you know, my channel, Black Men Unfiltered's channel, you guys are hearing the words from this brother right here. I'm telling you, this is where I go to spread my wings now, right? This is where I go to spread my wings. I go to his channel and I fly like a bird over there, you know, and I get it out. I get the frustration out, you guys. I'm frustrated. You might not see it over here because I come back. I'm already released the tension, right? Black Men Unfiltered, he allows me to just yell and scream and get it out. Then I come back over here, you guys. I come back over here and I'm like, woosah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I get a chance to, after I got the, because I'm frustrated, you guys.
Can I add something to that?
Go ahead, brother.
When I talked about them using our black women against us, let me add one more thing to you. For the viewers out there, get your phones right now and I want you to Google 2 things for me. The first thing I want you to Google is, my wife yelled at me. And when that pops up, it's going to give you something. It's going to say something. It's my wife yelled at me. And when you type that into your Google search, it's going to tell you ways to calm her down. It's going to tell you ways to comfort her and to nurture her. It's going to tell you how to back away from her, how to resist any confrontation with her because she's going through something. It may be something, a detachment, but it gives you several links on how to calm her. Now that you know this, I want you to do the reverse. Now watch this. This is going to blow your mind, Nathan. Now I want you to type in, my husband yelled at me, and tell me what comes up.
Oh, you want to Google it right now?
Go. Yes, sir.
I'm about to Google it right now.
My wife yelled at me, and look at all the things that they give you to comfort her, and then type in, my husband yelled at me, and see the differences.
Let me pull up my husband.
Do the wife first. Do the wife first.
I'm doing the wife first.
Yeah. What does it say? Comfort her. Be there for her.
Yeah.
She's stressed out. Now type in, my husband yelled at me.
How to get your angry spouse up. Yeah, there's a lot of solution based.
Okay, now go. Now do the reverse.
We see domestic
reverse
violence.
By Victoria Mensa. Sure.
Domestic violence support. Hold on. 6 effective ways to stop. Yeah, you know, this is true. You know what's happening though? And this is why this is very interesting.
You see how it's set up?
Well,
if the wife yells at you, comfort her. But if that man yell at you, bring him to the system. Yeah, call him. You
know, and it's like domestic violence hotline, you know, immediately when you pull it up for men. Men, unfortunately, we are tasked at being leaders. You know, this is a biological trait. This is why when we talk about stuff with the manosphere, these are the conversations that need to be had. And right after we get done having them, we need to talk about how to change it, how to fix it. We can't just be an area or a place where everyone is there to unload, to complain. We need to be working about how do we fix this for the next generation? You know, men have to work on their marketing. I say the same thing about law enforcement. It is on us as police officers to have better marketing, to make better attempts to fix the problem. You just can't let it go. Men have got to a place where we just let it go. We just let it happen. We don't argue anymore. You know, this is what people expect of us. I think gone are the days where we just sit back and take the abuse as men. You know, men are victims of abuse too from women. A lot of it is verbal and emotional abuse men take. You know, women say physical. Yes, physical is a thing. But men are also being abused as well, you guys. And so we as men, we do have to step up and start really, I think we lost him. I think we may have disconnected. You see, he's watching 8 different channels. That brother got a supercomputer over there. We'll bring him back up if he comes back up. But you know, man, we have to start galvanizing together and start speaking to the issues that trouble us, and then also working on fixing it for the next man, right? The next boy that's coming of age of a man he doesn't have to fall victim to the same things that we are. You know, this thing about the court, I didn't know. I knew they incentivized you guys. They
announcing.
My bad, brother.
You good, bro? They don't have they don't have the desire to see us in the best lighting, because it's not advantageous, not profitable for them to fix the problem. We know this to be true for a little bit of everything, right? This is a capitalist country, meaning that they need to make money off of something. And if you just so happen to be that something that they can make money off of, they're going to do it. Despite what it means to you or how the outcome in your life is, it's all about money. And if it makes sense, it's never going to make dollars, you guys. That's the reality. It's all about money. This is a class issue in this country. Not just white supremacy, it's green supremacy, green dependency. Again, you guys, it's all about the dollar. It's always been about the dollar. And this is how our community is raised. I was about to say the R word, pillaged. We're taken advantage of because of that. You know, this was an amazing conversation. I'm going to have to dig deeper in this. And I'm glad you pointed this out about the court system. I always knew it was incentivized. I just didn't know how much money they were making. This changes everything. Men should be galvanizing behind that alone. You know, Jesus Christ, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And I just, man, it's just men out here. We always talk about deadbeat dads, but we're not looking at the CDC numbers. We're not looking at the fact that 51% of fathers are in the home. We're not looking at the prison, the men that are going to jail. The numbers has dropped, but 30% of Black men now are going to college and graduating. We're not talking about the positives. And what I would like everybody to do, man, I would like everybody to go educate yourselves, but go and look at this documentary. Tina Knowles, the mother of Beyonce, just did a amazing documentary called Black Man Profiled. And they break down all the statistics of a Black man, and they show you that all the statistics and stereotypes are false. And now, and you know the reason that the impact that it's having? Women on these streets in the YouTube channel that has 1 million followers, 500,000 followers, they're on YouTube making videos about signing something to have this documentary removed.
And
women have got together and they have drugged Beyonce's mother. Why would you make this? Why would you do this? So there must be some truth to it if they're trying to sign a petition to have it removed.
We need to do a video on that.
Yeah.
We need to do a video on that.
Let me know. I'm in.
Interesting. There's power in stereotypes. Trust me, I know, right? Yep. As an officer, there's power in stereotypes, you guys. And there's also power in living through the stereotypes.
Exactly.
Right? So that's another thing too. Let's not give anybody any fuel, any ammunition to be prejudiced against us, right? Now, again, in a perfect world, someone would say it shouldn't matter how I dress, how I look, how I talk, right? Who I date, whatever. But you guys, listen, it does matter. Image means everything. Image is important. And Black people have lost control of our own image. And until we regain that, we can control a lot of these negative stereotypes that are pushed out in the media and pushed out against us. All right.
Right. And I want to address one more thing, man. I know you're going to shut the club down. But I think that, and you looking, spazzy tonight. I always say, you look like a pair of scissors at Martha Stewart house. You're clean, Doc. You're clean. So, but I want to say
Sir
this.
Hale came up. I couldn't let Sir Hale's outdo it, brother.
You know what I'm saying? And so I want to say one thing, because I saw somebody in the chat says it must be the leaders of Black Lives Matter. You're absolutely correct. I didn't want to say this. It's not sexy, right? But who leads Black Lives Matter? It's 2 lesbian women, right? They are the founders of Black Lives Matter.
Toxic masculinity is what they stand by.
Yeah. All the women that are in the Me Too movement, God bless their souls. God bless their hearts. I'm like you now. Bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts. What's their main message too, though? Their main message is dismantling the nuclear family.
Yes. And you know what? We talk about how Black men dog out women all the time. And it's true in some cases, not all men, but some.
Mm-hmm.
But we never talk about the white pimp. We never talk about the pimp that's been pimping for 40 years. You know what? The white ladies pimped our Black women. The white men pimped our Black women. Look, we want to do this feminist movement. But if we get a couple of those nigger women to come down here and march with us, and then we let them do it on their side, because they're real passionate.
Yes. Through what they use, though, through the tunnel of emotions.
Yes, exactly.
Emotions are one of the most dangerous things that are impacting our community.
Yes.
Emotion with the absence of logic, right?
Right.
Because how do you fool and manipulate this many people?
Exactly.
Consistently.
Exactly. And why were we so vulnerable? And even I did a show on Margaret Sanger, man. I did a show, man. I did a full-blown show. I thought I was going to get striked off of YouTube, but I did it anyway because people need to know. Margaret Sanger of Planned Parenthood, that created Planned Parenthood, for you Black women that love to run up in there.
Yeah.
She created it, and she created it for genocide of the Black baby, right? And so the first Planned Parenthood, do you know where that was, Nathan?
No.
She put it in Harlem, New York.
Okay.
What's in Harlem?
Black folks.
Black, nothing. And when she got there, the women were so strong-minded. They told her, you can get up out of here with that. We're not deleting our babies. You crazy.
Oh, I see.
And guess what happened? Margaret Sanger said, you know what? They're right. I can't go approach them. I got a different strategy. I'm going to take the Black nurses that are Black women nurses. I'm going to take them, and I'm going to pay them good, and I'm going to convince them of what I believe. And then I'm going to send the nurses and the preachers back down in those neighborhoods and convince those women to do it. And so women started to get pregnant, and they started to delete their children. And when they deleted them, Margaret said, while they're asleep, go ahead and take all of the organs in their body that causes them to get pregnant again. Cleanse them. Take it out. And she admitted to it. She said, she told the Black people, the leaders that she sent down in those ghettos, she told them, I don't want them to know that I'm trying to wipe them out. So do not mention it. Just give them something good, something to hope for, to let them know that their lives can be better if they have children that are unwanted children.
Yes. You know why that is such a very, very, very interesting thing. And, Planned Parenthood is pervasive throughout the Black community, as we all know this. I just recently found out how bad it was. 79% of Planned Parenthoods are all in Black communities. You won't
find one in a nice area. You won't.
No, you won't. And I told myself I was gonna do some more research on it, you guys, and I just found that out just last weekend, and I didn't know it was that bad. I didn't know. And that's something, again, we're gonna have to talk about that. I remember talking to a guy. He owns a liquor store in some white community. He said he had to pull teeth just to get a permit to put a liquor store in the white community. They don't want those kind of stores in abundance.
Yep.
They're like, hey, we got one every 50 square miles.
Yep.
Right. It's there for a reason. They understand how dangerous certain business, too many of them, can be.
Exactly.
And a lot of our communities, you got a liquor store on every corner. You got a church on every corner. right? But you know, this is real.
You're forgetting one. You're forgetting one.
Which one?
Payday loans.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We'll give you $200 and we'll charge you 200% back.
Yeah. We got to regain. We got to, you know, there's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do. There's a lot of work to do. Yo, Black Man Unfiltered, brother, I appreciate you coming through, man, dropping wisdom.
Yeah, and you know what? One more thing I'm gonna add to that thing, and I'm done. Susan G. Komen, breast cancer awareness, guys.
I'm not familiar with her.
Susan G. Komen. She's a very popular lady. She does breast cancer awareness every year. Everybody wear pink. You know the little pink bow everybody wears? Okay. That's her, right? Susan G. Komen, 35% of her research money for cancer goes to Planned Parenthood. Wake up, people. Wake up. Get your wake up call tonight.
I'm about to look into that, bro. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
You know, again, when they say it's systematic, it's a system.
It is.
It's a system, and then you find out what causes breast cancer, and you'd be like, it'd be something in the food that you love to eat, right? It's weird how everything is so orchestrated.
Yep.
We got a lot of work to do, but you know, we've come this far. You know, we're a very resilient group of people. You know, we like the dinosaurs. Somebody's always living. No matter what catastrophe takes place, there's always somebody.
Exactly.
Who, you know, yo. Black Man Unfiltered, brother, I appreciate you, man. I don't get a chance to get you over here often. You're a busy brother. And you're always welcome here. Thank you so much for coming up. Thank you so much for always supporting. Thank you so much for always allowing me over on your platform, man, and just giving me a space to talk and sharpen my sword, you know.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man.
Please go and follow this brother. He's amazing. You see, he's coming with the wisdom. You know, this is the type of talk we need to have in our community. I got a lot of Black power folks on my side, and I've earned some from your side. Please go and support this man. We're trying to get him to 1,000. You know, you heard my speech earlier, you guys. We're trying to get him to 1,000. Please go over there and support. Black Man Unfiltered, thank you so much, brother.
All right, man. Much love to you, brother. Can't wait to see you back on my platform, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, peace.
All right. Woo! Listen, knowledge is power. They say if you want to keep something from a brother, put it in the book. Listen, this is back when I was coming up. We had the Encyclopedia Britannica, you guys. Now you have the internet. There's no excuse. We got the internet. No excuse. You know, no excuse. What are your thoughts, you guys? She said, dang, I wish I could pull this up. Shout out to, hold on. Muslim Jedi. Shout out to Muslim Jedi. Thank you for joining the channel. Listen, you guys, if you like this content, you want to join and be a part of this journey, there's a lot going on here. You want to stand behind the movement, you guys. Join the channel. Your support is so appreciated. Join and subscribe. If you're not subscribed already, thank you so much. Shout out to Kiwan. Thank you so much. She's also a new member to the channel as well. Thank you. She talked about the beauty supply stores. You guys, yes. They are taking over. They've been took over our communities, beauty supply stores, nail salons, liquor stores. We don't own anything. Our expenses in our community is someone else's stream of income. Yep, it is. And the fastest way to fix this problem, you guys, is to repair our families, because through that, we can change everything. That is the key, truly the key. That is the master key. A key that opens many locks, right? Whew. You guys, I'm starving. Shout out to all those who donated, contributed to the channel, contributed to the conversation. It means so much. You guys, we're going to do more videos like this. Oh, man, I'm exhausted. It's always such a... Listen, I pray you guys really enjoyed. You guys, before I get on here, I always say a quick little prayer when I get on, before I get on, because I want to make sure the words that come out of my mouth are going to be used to build and uplift, and also to bring knowledge, bring truth, where things are missing, things are absent. This was powerful. I can't wait to rewatch this and go through the comments. I know I missed a lot of questions and comments from you guys, and so listen, put your thoughts in the description, and I'm down in the chat when you're done, when this video is done. You guys, thank you so much again. I can't say it enough for those who showed up and just supported, just to bear witness to some gentlemen talking, some black men talking and sharing our thoughts. Only up from here. We'll be coming back with a part 2. We're going to be hitting solutions across the board. And then again, after solutions, you guys, it's about execution. Solutions, then executions, right? So you got to debate it, talk it out, come to an agreement. And then I want to talk about, how do we execute it? How do we actually put this thing in motion? How do you do it? Start to challenge men to put their minds together. We have bright men and women, right? How do we execute this strategy? What are the tactics? What does it look like? How practical it is. Sometimes we just like to throw things out there because it sounds good. But no, you guys, there's always a way to make it happen. Some of us lack the imagination. That's why we can't be great. So, I was going to rock the tie. I should have rocked the tie. Don't worry. One day I'm going to bring the tie on. When I get TLA over here to this channel, I'll bring the tie out. Brothers and ties. I'm looking y'all. Chocolate brothers are winning though. Period. You see, we had chocolate on the screen today. Shout out to all the chocolate brothers out here doing their thing. I remember back in school, we weren't in until, who was it? Morris Chestnut came out. Tyrese came out, hit the scene. Next thing you know, Choo. Chocolate brothers are in. We winning. And we've been in ever since, y'all. We've been in ever since. So shout out to all the brothers out there, the chocolate persuasion. We are winning. We are doing the damn thing. And shout out to all the other brothers on the color spectrum, though, right? At the end of the day, we all one people. So anyways, shout out to all my moderators. Gail, thank you so much. Pretty Ugly Truths, thank you so much. Miss Shayla, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you guys so much. You guys are working behind the scenes so I can focus here in front of the camera. Shout out again to all of my guests who came up. ChicagoRilla, thank you so much, brother. Bringing so much truth, so much raw truth and wisdom. Also, congratulations to you and your wife on a new marriage, brother. I'm right behind you. I'm out here hunting. And congratulations to you also, just for being an amazing man, coming over here to support. Shout out to Sir Hale Speaks, you guys. That, right? Nothing to say. Please, you guys, go over there and support that brother. Right now, I see 50 people watching. He should have a 50 plus more subscribe to his channel, you guys. Please go and support him. It would mean a lot to me. It would mean so much to me if you go over there and support him, as well as Black Men Unfiltered. Please, you guys. These brothers have uplifted me. They've helped me and helped provide a lot of support, a lot of direction. And this is what you guys asked for. You want to see Black men get up and do something. We're doing something. We're doing something. We need your help, right? So, with that being said, you guys, listen, let these truths find you where those lies have left you. And with that, good night and God bless.